Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Heavy Metallurgy. It's episode number 108, actually. As you may have noticed, Alan is not here today. He's been covering for me the last couple episodes, and it's my turn to cover for him. So, thankfully, at the very last minute, I am known to procrastinate. Alan is the one that is the spearhead that gets things moving ahead of time and on schedule. I'm the guy that's the last minute. Oh, shit. Well, thankfully, my fellow metallurgists Ben and Rick were available for a quick throw together of what's spinning. Everybody seems to like that. It's easy. It's easy, and I just want to thank you guys.
Friday.
Yeah, we gotta thank you guys for jumping on at such a short notice. I really appreciate it. How y'all been doing?
All right.
My friggin' pleasure. After last weekend hanging out with you a little bit in person and not getting as much hangout with you as I could have, I thought this was the next best thing, right?
Yep. Well, shit like that, it's chaos. And there was quite a few people at this thing. Before we get into that, Rick, how have you been doing? What's been going on over at Dreadful Minutes?
Doing pretty good. I'm going to ready up another review this weekend for the channel.
I got to do one too. I've been listening.
Be unveiled.
Yep. Cool.
Looking the rest up. I'll be on a death deep dive tomorrow on the Gas Mask and Hand Grenade channel.
Yep.
So I'll just throw that out there.
Awesome.
So it's a band I think most of you would be familiar with, I would think. And just catching up with some listens. I'm going to be doing a contest video that also will be showing up very soon for somebody. And other than that, it's just the usual.
Right on. Ben, what's been going on over at Brainsmasher other than worldly traveling?
Am I still online?
Yeah, you are. You froze for a second, but you're back.
I was whatever. Oh yeah. So Kentucky. Went down to Kentucky. I don't know if a lot of you guys know I don't usually drive very long, but for me it's about 7 or 8 hour drive. It's a little long for me, but I did it. I've done it a couple of times, and I really missed it. And it was great to be down there with Austin and all of Austin's friends and my friends, and you guys, and new YouTube friends. It was insane. Just so many fucking people. People come up to me saying, "Yeah, you're Brainsmasher." So it was just a blast. I've been riding that high ever since then, and man, Panopticon were pretty good.
They're all pretty. It's kind of hard not to be pretty good when your live roster is filled with such amazing talent.
God.
But I like you. I had like 3 or 4 people come up and take pictures and say they like the channel. Cheers to all you folks for doing that. We really appreciate that. It's really kind. It's one thing to sit in front of this and talking to the digital abyss, but when you start putting faces with names and realize that people actually watch, I mean, yeah, like we can see the analytics, we can see people are watching, but it doesn't feel real until you meet somebody. So I mean, it's very cool, and I know when it happens, it's probably happened to all 3 of us. Rick has probably gotten it too. Sometimes it's cool, and it's appreciated, and thanks. It's pretty sweet.
I always wish that I could let's sit down and have a beer, but there's like a million people here and we're yelling into each other's fucking ears and I can't hear anything. So
Yeah.
It's never really ever possible.
No, it's tough. But so I guess we should probably just start off with Kentucky, eh?
Yeah.
For those who were there or weren't there, it was a show with Primeval Well, my band, The Glorious Dead, and headliner, it was Panopticon, of course. And Ben and I got a little stage time. Ben jumped up on stage and did some guest vocals for Panopticon. It was cool to see. Of course, my pictures of the event were pretty terrible. He looked like a Sasquatch up there with my stupid, shaky hands. We played in front of over 600 people, which might be. Oh, I got to sneeze.
Plug it up.
I might be getting sick. Biggest show we've ever played. It might be the biggest we ever play. Who knows? But it was a lot of fun. What was your process, or what was your overview of the event?
Well, it actually started the day before. I went to sit in on Panopticon's rehearsal, which was It was amazing. There was this guy out in like the metal scrapyard area of Louisville, and this dude, this old fart, had like a metal scrapyard that would ordinarily be like outdoors, like a junkyard, but everything was indoors. And so I walked down this kind of driveway kind of deal into a garage, and there's just like shopping carts and gutters and lawnmowers hanging from the ceilings. It was absolutely nuts. And I walked down for like a city block of just scrap metal as far as the eye can see.
Wow.
And then inside there, Panopticon is playing in this great little carpeted area. And I got to watch them play their whole set and just kind of get like a preview of what the show was. And it was great to have an intimate watching them practice and just slay through those songs.
Yeah.
I don't understand these guys live in 5 different areas of the United States. If they're practicing on their own, I mean, of course they are, but like they are so well honed at playing these songs together, but there's no way they can possibly be playing these songs together more than just like that one time. And so they were even better the following night. Oh my God.
Yeah, we rehearse every week and we still sloppy Joe sometimes. It's just the way it goes.
So like the big deal about this show is like Panopticon has never been back to Kentucky since Austin moved out of Kentucky. And we were going to do it the start of the pandemic. That got axed. So for me, that was a big deal because I've been kind of an integral part of moving Panopticon up to Minnesota and kind of being our friendship has like really burgeoned since that process happened. And so it was so fun to go back there and just see everybody and kind of relive those moments. And like, I literally cried just like thinking about the evolution of our friendship and all the friends that Austin has made and all this Bind family stuff over the years. And it was just so fun to just watch all these songs have such a meaning in my memories among all my friends for that. It was just an intense moment and I was so happy. I gave Beck a hug and I just said, "This is great. I'm so proud of you. I love you." I was just ecstatic. It's been a long time since I was at a show where I was just like, just so had my bucket filled back up again, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the other night, like, I cannot believe how good of a drummer Ray Capital is.
Dude. They were having trouble with an amp head, so Spencer asked me to go take my head up there in case they need to swap it out. So I just kind of stuck it through and pointed at Tanner and pointed to the head, and I watched Ray through the curtain. And it was just like watching the zen of drumming. He just sits there completely calm and cool as a cucumber, blasts for 7 minutes straight, no big deal, perfect posture, just sitting there like he's thinking about a laundry list or a list to buy at the shopping or something. It's crazy. He's just inspiring to watch. They all are. It's great. Charlie,
yeah,
the fiddle player. There was one song on there where he's just completely shredding. It's just like shred fiddle. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing lineup of people and talented and perfect.
Now,
I mean, go ahead.
You guys played your new songs, right? I would take it. No.
Yeah, half of our set was all new.
Okay.
Yeah. It would have been nice to
wondering
have
how
the record for that, but
people responded or reacted to that. I'm guessing pretty well.
Everybody just kind of watched until like the 5th song, and then a pit broke out, which was cool because it wasn't asked for. They just did it, and a lot of a lot of fierce headbanging and fuck yes, and it was cool. It was just what the doctor was. It's nice to look up and see a bunch of people reacting. That's doesn't always happen.
You guys are just such an assault on album live. It's just like if you think about the way Panopticon has like these fills all the time, it's just so constantly erupting, ebbing and flowing. I feel like that's kind of a similarity between the Glorious Dead. Like Chris is just filling all the fucking time.
He's a cymbal fanatic. He's like we call him Zorro. He's like he's always doing like shit on the. It's crazy.
Yeah. Never just like kicking it on a blast or just like doing a simple double bass kind of thing. He is just fucking creative as all hell all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like, it's dizzying. So I think that was like, and your guitar parts, like along with those kind of busy drums, make it like impossible to figure out that you guys might have made a little mistake here.
Yeah. Well, the ones I screwed up on mostly were the ones that no one heard. So, and then we had one false start. But
That was pretty funny.
TJ broke from script, and then that just was destined for failure. So, but
TJ kind of maintained this persona like, "What's up, you pukes? You better fucking move for this one."
Yeah. Yep.
Love it. I wish I could have gotten to see hang out with that guy a little bit more.
We had a great time. It was great. Great sound in that place. It was cool being on a stage where a venue cares about music. It's not someone's shitty rehearsal PA and no one knows how to use it. So you play half your set with feedback coming back at you. So it was good to actually be able to hear stuff and
not just like a karaoke band sort of audience.
Be treated well. It was good. It was nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to go back to the the way it normally is.
The grind.
Yeah.
Cool.
But nope, to everybody that came out, hope you all had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Did you want to share a video or something, Ben?
It's not loading for me right now, and I don't feel like copying it to my computer. So,
all right.
I did on the Binder and Instagram. I solicited for anybody to submit footage because I wasn't sure if anybody got like a full song. I was seeing like 1 or 2 minute clips here and there, and some great pictures and stuff. But I was kind of surprised that nobody filmed like a whole song because it was just such an immensely impressive experience to watch them perform so flawlessly. Music that when you hear Panopticon, I don't know if everybody has the same experience, but you just think like, how is this guy able to write and perform and record all this stuff so intricately and passionately? And I never thought it would be able to translate it with musicians onto a live format. And he's figured it out, and it's amazing.
Yep.
Like if you have the chance to see them, I know they're touring in Europe next week or so. Go see them. It's amazing.
Yep.
I can't believe it. It made me think like, so I saw Death back in April, a band that's kind of like not the band who recorded the album in a way, watching them play, songs that were like 30 years old. And that was amazing. And then Vedbo and Zenda played like a couple weeks later for me. And I never thought like there would be a drummer that could play Carl Michael's really complex, intricate sort of drum parts. He nailed it. And then to see Panopticon have this band playing those songs that are super intricate. So I'm just kind of like, it's completely proven me wrong that you can't find musicians to play super complex, intricate, weird music.
It just and for me, Panopticon is a very cerebral band. It is for a lot of people. So you don't really know. It's hard to imagine how it's going to translate live, and it did. It translates really well live, and he's surrounded himself again with very talented people. And Charlie on fiddle. The guy he had used to play fiddle for him was good, but Charlie fits. I mean, he just has the spirit and the twang of it and the innovation, and it cuts through. It's such a huge part of the Panopticon sound, and live it really translates super well. And Primeval Well, we don't want to forget talking about them. They open up the show. Nice dudes. It's they listen to some of their stuff on the way down and here and there, and I like them. They're good, but I think this stuff really translated a bit better live. It seemed like the songs gel a lot better. It was cool. It was very cool.
So and it's undoubtedly like the lineage of Panopticon influencing like country music. Like I feel like Panopticon is like Appalachian folk mixed with black metal, folk metal, but I think Primeval Well were like just country. Straight up country.
That's a band I've recently gotten into. I just ordered their LP, and part of it is because Josh Hines is in that band. When I've been into Stare for a while, that's his other project. Who's also plays in that band, which is fucking awesome.
That dude, is it the drummer?
He's God, I don't even know. I think he plays bass for Primeval Well. Although with Stare, he basically does everything.
Their drummer looked like he was still in high school. Hey, CJ, it was good to meet you at the show too. Awesome. It was good seeing you, man.
Oh yeah, you too. So wow, Josh plays in a million bands. I didn't realize this. And the drummer's in a couple bands too. Huh. I came up to the drummer after the show and I was like, "You guys were amazing." He's like, "Where do I know you from?" I was like, "I don't know, YouTube." That's it, Brainsmasher. I was like, "Fuck."
Oh, bro, I'm from YouTube. You might know.
How
I'm
you
an,
doing now, man?
I
an
never want to be that
influencer.
guy.
Can't even pick up eggs now without people recognizing you.
Yeah. It's funny, leading up to the show, Primeval Well, for some reason it couldn't stick, the name of the band couldn't stick in our head. So Chris, our bass player, started calling them Primordial Ooze.
Oh, geez.
That name we could remember. And Ted's going up on stage. He's like, "I'm gonna thank them. I can't say Primordial Ooze." It's not Primordial Ooze.
There is a band called Primordial Ooze.
Is there? Well, of course
Yes.
there is. Of course there is.
The problem is the syllable count, right? Like when I hear people say William Dafoe instead of Willem Dafoe,
Right.
you just add the extra syllables.
Yeah.
This is another example.
Tomato, Rick. Tomato.
Maybe it's a southern thing. Maybe it's Kentucky. Maybe they say it differently up here. I don't know.
And I've got one more little bit to talk about. Test pressings for The Glorious Dead. We put up pre-orders today. Records are going to be coming sooner than later. So you want to get a copy, put in an order. And the new Eve record too is also up for pre-order as well. They're coming together. So both are, I hate to say, pretty cool. One's my band. I don't want to sound like I think my own farts smell good, but we worked hard on it. I'm not ashamed to say that I like my own stuff. It's okay.
Well, we often think our farts smell bad. We don't mind.
You
I
know,
don't think our farts already smell bad.
there's only been a couple times it was maybe a White Castle too far that really kind of it didn't sit well. But no, we had a great time, and it was really great to see everybody, like CJ, and people came up in the chat and watched the show. It's great, and see friends. You don't get to see that often. It was a lot to take in, and it's hard to give everybody the time they deserve. And so for that, if any of us seem short or preoccupied, sorry. I'm used to working in a garage all day by myself. So being around a whole bunch of people, I can do it, but it's I feel like I'm not being as jovial or forthright as I should be. But anyway, it was great to see everybody. It really was. It meant a lot. It was very cool. A great experience, and we hope to do it again.
Yeah, great. I kept saying, so after the show, we all met up at another bar, and usually I would hate that. I hate going to bars. I don't fucking do it. This loud yelling indoors fucking drives me nuts. My hearing is bad and I can't hear anything. But so Knock Bar is quiet. Yeah. You sit outside, and it's the middle of this neighborhood where people are all asleep. You can just hear like the crickets chirping, and you're just having conversation with your buddies, and they have amazing beer there. And it's just like calm. And I so love that bar. It's like the best bar I've ever been to. And all my friends were there that night, but I got too shit faced and I had to drive home. So I did it all night. I kept saying that night though, that I wanted to just have like a get together with no show. We just fucking talk for like 3 days straight and have the best weekend ever.
And Kellen was there too. We all got to meet Kellen. I mean, we see Kellen every Wednesday and on this channel and on his own channel and whatnot, but it was good to hang out with him and Corinne.
Yeah. And Ed, Midwestern Abyss, I know a lot of you guys probably don't know him, but I drove through Indianapolis where he lives on the way down. And I was like, Ed, I wish we could hang out. I don't know how I'm going to find time to fit this into the weekend. Why don't you just come down? So he did. And I got to meet him. It was great. Very cool. But, well, what did you do last night, Marty?
What did I do? Oh, yeah. Derp. Wednesday. I took my son down to Detroit to see Halloween and Hammerfall, obviously. Yep, he's 13. It was his first show. And, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. His first show, it was a great experience. The band Hammerfall was great. I mean, they had 4 songs that they sang about hammers. Super cheesy. And it was still fun. And Halloween, it was amazing. All 3 singers, Andy and Kiska, they were on pitch. They sang great together. Even Kai, I've seen some stuff where he's having trouble. He sounded great. He sounded absolutely great. The production was really good. The lights, the video screen, and I was blown away. Blown away. The set list kind of preferred Keepers 2, 3 songs from the new one, and but they could have played another hour and I'd been happy. And my kid, he headbanged, he sang along.
Yeah.
He was even on the edge of a pit and he got a little scared for a second. I'm like, they're not fighting. So
It's a
watch.
pit?
And I'm like
That's
pushing
okay.
them back in. I said, when they come up to you, just push them back in. They're a bunch of dummies trying to, start a pit at a power metal show. It just doesn't make sense. But one funny thing they have to come away with on that, Sasha, towards the end, he was doing the outro music where they introduced the band, and he's like, how many people saw Halloween live in the 80s? And like three dudes raised their hand, and you're like, what did he say? He's like, you did? You're still alive? And people laughed, and then he's like, you did it. It's kind of like a goofy voice. You did it. It's funny. But
There's one band I need to see live. It's just I feel like it'll be a whole different religious experience seeing Halloween. Just because the way you guys talk about them versus the studio albums and what it might be like under set, especially the Keeper stuff, man. I'm really curious about that.
That sounded like the CD, bro. I'm serious. They sounded great. The music, there's 3 guitar players. Typically, if people are a little off, it could get mushy. It wasn't mushy. The sound, they were loud, but it wasn't offensive. I took out my earplugs. I had the kid leave his in, but I took it out. I'm like, God, I can hear everything. There was one mistake. Kiska, they play Save Us, which I love that song. And they came in and Kiska missed his mark on the first verse. He was behind the riff. So Kai walks up to him playing his guitar, tapped him on the shoulder while he's like belting it out. He stops, he looks at him, and he's like, he points at his fretboard and he's like, oh, laughs, and then jumps back on point in the chorus. But that was kind of funny. That was the only fuck up. Usually he forgets words and stuff, but he didn't. It was all good. And the production, the lights were really cool, and the they have like these video cameras that like took live action and put it in the video screen. It was just super bright, and the cool things they did with the lights. It was just a very cool production. If you can go see them on this tour, do it. I mean, they're playing kind of a lot of greatest hits type stuff, but they sound great and they are having a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun.
I would worry. I'm a big fan of the Keepers albums. Obviously, I think most people are, but I would worry that they would play a ton of material from all the albums that they've done since then. And I would just kind of be like, I'm lost. I haven't really listened to anything since Better Than Raw, probably. But also, isn't it just amazing when you go to these bigger shows these days, how everything sounds amazing and the light shows are crazy good and there's like video stuff going on. It's like, it's such a treat now to go to a show. Where in the back of the day, it just used to be a sweaty, shitty bar, and you're lucky if the sound was good, and you had to wait outside in the winter, cold all night just to get in.
He's gone, Ben. I kicked him out.
Okay.
All right. So great show. Definitely, it was a great experience. I got a little teary on a couple times. I just couldn't believe I was seeing Halloween, and they sounded so good, and I was within 10 feet of the stage.
God.
The whole night.
Have they been touring in Europe or something, or is they just
got off of a run of South America opening for Scorpions and Kiss.
Wow.
It was like a Monsters of Rock tour in South America. Wow. So they've been playing in humongous stadiums down there. Huh. And Toronto, I looked and they had a packed house. And Detroit, they played at the Royal Oak Music Theater, which is a very cool venue. Maximum capacity is 1,700. It was not filled. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. It was half full, maybe, but they were a loud, rowdy bunch. People sang along, and the band seemed to enjoy themselves. And I saw pictures of Chicago, and that looked packed. So, I mean, that's kind of Detroit's in the middle of those two, and they're all within very short driving distance from each other. So, if there wasn't Toronto or Chicago, I think Detroit probably would have been packed.
When I saw that announced, I just pictured, okay, I get to see Halloween among 100,000 people. I don't want to fucking do that. But it was cool to see that there was a way more instrument than that.
But it's just cool seeing a band that's been doing it since they were kids. And this is their profession. This is what they've done. And you can tell. There's care for what they do. There's professionalism. They're silly. They have fun, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it just, the show, They know Andy and Kiska know how to get a crowd going. It's incredible to watch people in their element, and the fact that they're having, you can tell, whether it's manufactured or not, I don't know. I don't care. It appears they're having fun and like each other.
Oh yeah.
And it's infectious. It's contagious. Smiles on stage, smiles in the crowd. I was smiling ear to ear the whole time. And I posted a picture of me and my son on Facebook, and looks like he's about to split open. He's so happy. So, very psyched that I'm not a camping and fishing dad. So this is kind of my wheelhouse. So the fact that I actually took my son to his first show, which was Halloween, one of my favorite bands, and one of his favorite bands. It was cool. It was a very cool experience. So I kind of want to lock that in and not forget it. And hopefully we can do it again soon.
I hope someday. He says, my first show, my dad took me to Halloween, and I've been a fan ever since then.
Yep. And I told him, I said, well, you're officially a metalhead now. So that's cool.
Is there such a line? I tried to go back and think of that day. What was that line?
Yeah.
My first show was the Beach Boys.
Camping is for homeless people. Speaking of, this is another Kentucky side. I'm sorry, everybody. You have to listen to our stories for a minute here. We were leaving the hotel to go to the venue, and there was a homeless person at the top of the freeway in this, looking down a ditch, yelling at somebody. And as I drove by, I looked at what he's yelling at. I see some other gentleman in the ditch. There had to be mosquito-ridden ditch. It was pretty kind of swampy looking. All I saw was no shirt on in the upper half. There was a friend of ours following us. She was in that lane and looked down and said he was completely naked. That was one mosquito-ridden carcass for sure. But welcome to the big city, folks. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is.
Yeah, I saw some pretty grim stuff too. I don't see here in Iowa.
Yep. But
before we get into the spins, I saw Imperial Triumphant last night.
Sweet. Did you wear a mask in solidarity?
That's another one I'm curious about.
Tour with Voivod. They opened Voivod for their whole U.S. tour, which I think was like a 30th or 40th anniversary kind of thing, or something like that.
Did you watch Voivod?
No, they just ended up that tour, and this was maybe their second date on their own. Those guys just tour nonstop. Apparently, it's insane. Yeah, somebody in the chat was saying Hellhammer or something. But I don't know. Yeah, see him live if you can. It's one of the weirdest musics I have ever heard on an album or seen live. They pull off a great show. It was weird. There was like 40 people there, so I don't know. They performed like they were playing in front of a couple.
Was Kenny G? Did Kenny G come up and rip some sweet sax solo?
No, but man, that album's good. I got this sweet shirt.
Nice. Yeah, that's another thing. I spent over about $270 in clothing with Halloween on it. Not
what do they
cheap.
get that shirt you're wearing?
$50. It's more expensive because the band split it because both their names are on it. The other ones were $45.
One of them right now.
Should be cheaper if they split it, right?
You already had that one.
Yeah. Then Parker got a hoodie that was $70, and then he went and bought a Hammerfall shirt that was $45. Then I bought him a Halloween shirt that was $45. I bought one that was $50 because I'm fat. I have to have the large size.
Yeah.
And then this one. So
this is the last 3XL they had, and I was like, "You are taking my money."
That's right. Was it $45?
30.
Yeah, that's about
right. It's correct. The garment is nice and thin.
Yep.
It's got a nice print on it too.
Sweet.
Let's get into some records, as Mike would say.
Well, you guys are better at this because I wear a medium, right? But mediums and L's usually go right away, and
yep,
I'm always out of luck with that stuff. Sucks.
Hobbit sizes.
Yeah. Hobbit, that's the problem.
You are king of the hobbits, Rick, and because you're a king of the hobbits, you will go first tonight. What have you been spinning?
I'm glad you moved me because that guy next to me was creeping me out. He looked a lot like him. Don't like him at all.
He gives you the Fonzie thumbs up though. Hey, hey, Dreadful Minutes, sit on it, Potsy.
Little thing that I ordered that I've been checking out, and this is because I know CJ is watching, and if you guys don't know, CJ Jakub, who did some contributions for Molder Yawn. Don't know if you're familiar. This is the latest EP, and it's called what is it? Wiltress, Queen of Flowers. And this is a guy by the name of ASAP, who's involved with this project, has some guest vocalists or some guests on here. And I know CJ did the drum work for this one, and I can tell it sounds very different from the previous material. This is more like, I don't know, like I guess you can kind of lump it in with black metal, but with a lot of ambient and like dungeon elements. But I don't get it with this release. This has been quite a bit of a change in sound, and this kind of falls more in that kind of post metal, post black. So it has a bit of that kind of in there. So it's cool. It's got a Rammstein cover for Rosenrot, which I wasn't really all that familiar because I'm not really a big Rammstein guy, so I didn't know it was a cover. Reached out to CJ, kind of filled me in on that, which is pretty cool. So this is one of my I guess what you call Bandcamp Friday orders, which is cool. So I would actually encourage anybody who's does the Bandcamp Friday thing, especially avoid Discogs at the moment if you're trying to do Bandcamp Friday, because they raise their rates lately. So that's just more reason to, if you're trying to help the band out. And ridiculous packaging. So you want to talk about bands that do the nature thing? It's like they included a set of leaves with this.
Are those real? Those look fake.
It's fake. I'm actually glad it's fake because I've gotten several of these kind of things. When you tend to order a lot of kind of the Appalachian bands and all of that folk stuff, it's they're throwing the stuff in, and you reach on a shelf and you just have crumbs everywhere.
Exactly. You open it up, all the needles fall off the shit, and then it's like, oh
nice,
great, I bought a box of dead shit.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll throw like a deer bone or something, and that's cool. That will last, but those leaves, not at all. And they included this pin, this packaging. I was not expecting all this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, I just ordered a digipack, and it's pretty cool. Like even the envelope, they threw this symbol on there. This is a keeper, I like the consideration, It's a really cool project. I've been kind of following this Molder Yawn thing for a while. Did a split with Robes of Snow, and CJ did a phenomenal job on this. I can kind of see how he's developing as a drummer. Just overall, he just put out him and his band put out a moon AMUN project, which I think is just digital for now, which is on Bandcamp. So if you want to check out more of his stuff, but this is awesome. It looks like lettuce, Simon, but it's I think it's some kind of shrub or something.
Shrubbery? Bring us a shrubbery.
I think it's real.
Yeah, that's moss. That's lichen.
Oh, give it a year. It'll be
marijuana, but it wasn't.
Box of dead shit, like that right there. A
Yeah,
box of dead shit. Actually, it's holding. That's hanging in there pretty good.
What if I put my bean in the dirt? Maybe I could have some more beans.
it's a weird dilemma because I'm like, it's cool that they did this, but then you don't want to throw it out. It's kind of part of the experience in some way, but then that shit's not gonna last. So at the same time, so I don't know. So I put it in a miscellaneous weird pile on a shelf with everything else. So yeah, so it's a new release. So if you're into the sort of the American black metal, but with more a lot of atmosphere, ambience. There's more clean singing in this one. It's not for everybody, but if you're into When Bitter Spring Sleeps and things like that, I think this might be more in your wheelhouse. There you go, Ben.
I am into Bitter Spring Sleeps.
Yes.
All right. Well, the moral of the story is metalheads are a crafty bunch. Ben,
yeah.
artsy craftsy bunch. What have you got? What is your first?
So a lot of this stuff is going to be doubled up on my channel. So sorry if this is double dipping, but since I do updates a lot, it's, I kind of breeze over things. But have you guys checked out this furball yet?
Box of Dead Shit is the new Die Hard edition.
Totally
That's
is.
good. That's good. That's a great CD, by the way.
Oh God, it's so good. I never thought I'd get my hands on this thing.
I like the other one too. The other one's good too.
I checked it out after your video. It rules, man.
Yes. Like I don't know if it could really be, if like the inception of Death Roll could be traced back anywhere else. I don't think this is like a big album, but maybe a lot of like the Swedish guys were like, that furball, we should probably steal their ideas before they get big.
Yep.
I can see that. But it's like, I don't really care about any of that death and roll kind of stuff. I know it's got a lot of really brutal, kind of almost grindy sort of moments. They're really all over the map. It's almost, God, their diversity is almost like a Mr. Bungle kind of thing or something. It's just, you never know what they're going to throw at you, but it's brutal, rocking and rolling. They're super riff masters.
Yeah, I wouldn't go by just that photo that's in there. I mean, you'd have to actually listen to it. You will not be convinced otherwise. Look at that.
That dude looks like he's ready to rip some sweet hacky sack action while listening to Primus.
They fucking courted him from a Pearl Jam cover band to play in furball.
Smells like BO and patchouli, I bet. If that picture was scratch and sniff, that's what it would smell like.
So, based on the cover art, would you ever guess this was a metal album? Good? I don't think so.
No.
The title, Those Streams. I love the inconspicuous greatness of a thing like this. Hidden gem.
Hidden gem, indeed.
So, yeah, like if something like Entombed, if a lot of the Sunlight Studios kind of stuff is something that you can't get enough of, this is along those lines, maybe kind of like Womb Bath too, but it's very, very different. It's like going back and finding a thing that you like, but it's got enough different stuff rolled into it that it's really refreshing. And I can't stop listening to it. It's kind of rare, but this one and the one after it, I can't remember what it's called, but worth picking up. The one after it is maybe a little more like Carcass, Swan Song, Heartwork kind of style, but it's pretty great.
I thought it was a little more Wolverine bluesy, maybe.
Yeah. But that's just a really touchy kind of micro genre for me. It gets really gimmicky for me, but furball just comes at it from a real kind of carnal sort of authenticity about it. It's fucking gnarly. I'm gonna be checking you guys' homework next week. Listen to furball.
Haven't spun those in a while. I should dig them out of the pile for sure.
I just grabbed the brown one, the one after that, out of a used bin one day, and I was like, this looks good. Couldn't believe how great it was. Listen to this one, and holy shit.
All right. Well, I'm going to get this out of the way after a long talk about them. Obviously, I've been listening to a lot of Halloween leading up to the show. These three have been my trio for sure. Stupid cover, great album, absolutely great album. Open Your Life, Never a Star, Don't Stop Being Crazy. Oh my God. I mean, listen to The Flies. This is a great album. Awesome. Mickey D on drums from Motorhead. Another one that everybody just kind of spaces over and rolls their eyes about. Now, another not great cover, but this is a great album as well. Daracera, of course. I can't read any of the songs. Long as I Fall is a pop song on there, but it's great. Kill It, The Saints, Paint a New World. God, there's great songs on here. And of course, this classic, Better Than Raw. Awesome. Push.
That's probably my favorite cover. It's just there's so much going on. But
it speaks to me. It speaks to me. Something speaks to me about. Falling Higher, Hey Lord, Revelation. What a crushing song, man. Great album. The Daracera, man. If you are unaware of the greatness of Andy Darris, it's time for you to drink the Kool-Aid and come over to our side because he's great. He is working man's power metal, has a ton of character, sings from the heart, has a great voice, can screech it out, put a lot of raw fry in his voice, and sing really pretty for ballads. I mean, it's very versatile singer. Love me some Halloween, as you all know. Rick, you're up.
Well, I thought I'd give a shout out this beautiful thing right here. So if you don't feel old already,
Great.
40 years right here, 83. And I mean, I don't know what I can add to this. It's just essential classic, you know, the first Dio album. I mean, Dio was already many notches in with, you know, hard rock and metal by the time this dropped. You know, it's just too bad, you know, Vivian couldn't stick it out for a few more albums, you know, after the, you know, what is it, the first 3 he was on. So it's, you know, but this one right here will always be with me, man. This is one I never get tired of. You know, I can put on any time. And, you know, there's a reason why it's all over social media and everybody's talking about this, you know, this week. But, you know,
Eternal, we listened on the way down to Kentucky, our 10-hour ride. We listened to Rainbow. We listened to Dio Sabbath. I mean, it's so good. He was such a talent. And that album there, I mean, you got Jimmy Bain, who was in Rainbow on bass.
Yeah.
You got Vinny Appice from Sabbath on drums. Great album. Great album. Great band.
Magical time. There'll never be another Dio.
Nope. And right up to the end of his life, he could still sing. He never blew out his voice. He knew how to do it. He knew what he was doing.
Well, I had to follow up because you were bringing up Halloween, you know, and great vocalists. I mean, this is coming from the U.S. side. Had to be mentioned.
Absolutely. All right, Ben.
Is it me again already? My voice is still recovering from screeching.
You were wrecked before you even got on stage.
Yeah, and the last couple of days at work have been kind of rough, and I yell a lot at work.
Yep.
I'm lucky I have a job that lets me yell "fuck you" all the time. I did a review of this, but man, I don't think we really covered this much on the Heavy Metallurgy channel. Besides that, but what are we thinking of the new Dodom's Guard? Huh?
I've only listened to the clips when I pulled clips from it. I have not gotten around.
I was happy to hear that you were kind of.
I liked it. I liked it.
But it is an album. It is an endeavor. It's not a song you can just kind of pull a song out of. The way that it starts off really unassumingly, and I think kind of references, like I said, Transylvanian Hunger and Barrack Talk kind of stuff. It's kind of trickled throughout, so it's not as alienating as a lot of their more recent stuff might be. I think when Satanic Art came out, people were just like, I can't do that. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But that's where, for me, I was like, these guys are onto something really, really strange. And as a weirdo that I feel like among people who aren't my kind, this music speaks to me like nothing else. And this is why, like, this stuff and the Vedboy and Zenda is such a treasure to me. You get into metal, you get into black metal, and it sounds great and it's blasphemous. Yeah, but then when you find something that just you connect with and you feel like no one else has ever known you before, like this album does, those are just special albums. And to hear a band that can still connect with me and the weirdo in me 30 years after their inception is remarkable. They're not tired. They're not worn out. They're still brilliantly creative. And there's a whole new lineup on this album that hasn't played with them before. And they pulled off just a
That's
remarkable...
current running for album of the year for you, isn't it? Looking at your review for it, just how long it was. I'm like, yeah, it's on that list.
I couldn't shut up about it. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough to say about it, but I had to like, shut up. I'm getting sick of this. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to sell you on it. Give it a shot, stream it, buy it, man. But don't just casually listen to it. I think if you're not really giving it your full attention,
it's not one of those kind of bands. Yeah, you gotta. It's a time suck, but it's worth it.
And I said in the review, like it's a back and forth. You you give a little by being willing to listen to the more weird parts, the saxophones and the flutes and the weird industrial synthy kind of parts, and then you get some really straightforward black metal kind of stuff. And after that kind of ebb and flow of styles, you get to track 7, and that is just bursting with super fast, blistering black metal moments with some of the most creative, weird, angular riffing I've ever heard in black metal. And then it just kind of coasts you back down onto earth at the end of the album for another 20 minutes or so. It's just a remarkable experience. It's not just an album. It's a whole new world that I can't really even put my finger on. It's fascinating.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about favorite albums for the year. This is up there. I reviewed this for the channel. I kind of bagged down a little bit for being cheesy, but had good things to say. Well, since then, I've spun it 10 million times because my kid loves it. That's Twilight Force, At the Heart of Wintervale. This album rips all the asses. If Emperor were a power metal band, it would be this band.
Okay.
Infinite synth layers, blast beats. There's blast beats on this shit. It's the singer from Rhapsody of Fire on vocals here. He's a great singer.
Really?
The songwriting is really good. There's one song that the Sunlight Night, it decays into a calypso island thing. It lasts for 30 seconds. It's annoying. Now it's so part of the song I don't hear it or care, but my kid knows every word on this album and the album before it.
That was your first heavy metallurgy review.
It was.
I think it was. You know. Oh, on a side note, you said Calypso. Rest in peace, Heavy Belafonte. You know, who passed.
Right on. Yeah, there's steel drums, doom, 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 shit on here.
Hey-o.
It's crazy, but this album rules. This is going to be at the top of my list for album of the year for sure. It's so, and I mean, you're like, oh, Emperor power metal, that's cheesy. Well, think about it. The bass player for Emperor went on wearing masks and elf ears. These guys wear elf ears. They're LARPing up all over the place. Who cares? It's fun. They even wear the ears and shit live. Cloaks, all of it. My son's like, these guys probably play a lot of D&D, Dad. I'm like, yeah, probably. it's cool. This album rips. It's great. I don't know.
Does your son know about Mortis or Mortis?
He does not.
Oh,
no. He doesn't like screechy vocals yet. I'm thinking that's gonna someday.
I would just show the pictures for now, just for the spectacle of it. But
yeah,
beat him in slow.
But
I imagine like Dungeon Synth would be pretty boring to a 13-year-old.
Yeah, he wouldn't give it two craps about that. But he's big into Windrose and Twilight Force and Halloween. Those are his 3 jam bands. But if you're into cheesy power metal, this thing rips. It rips. It's really good. I really enjoy it. Awesome band.
That cover art too. That's another one that draws you in. Holy crap!
Yeah. At the Heart of Winter Vale. Is that like a stab at Immortal? I don't know. I don't know.
Would you say it's better than the new Megaton Sword?
They're different. I mean, it's different. I like them both a lot. But this is way happier. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. That's gonna be a tough call at the end of the year for sure. We should talk about this afterwards, but at year end we should get all the people that do something with heavy metallurgy and do our top 10s. That'd be a fun episode for sure.
We kind of did that.
We did it last year, I guess, didn't we?
And you guys all picked Psy, which sucked.
I didn't pick Psy. I just recently heard that record. It's okay. Not a big Psy fan. All right, Rick.
Not for everybody, but
it's good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, even Alan said it. He'll allow the saxophone for them. You know, I don't mind this.
Yes.
So somebody who's watching right now from Salt Lake City. I don't know if he lives directly in Salt Lake City, but I know he's based from there. Sent me a package, and I've talked about this before on my channel, and I don't think he has a physical of it, or maybe he made this up for some people. So Mr. Ninth Circle, Bill, there he is. This is his project, Uncross Demo 2022, and yeah, I was talking praises on it because I dug it. And then he sent this my way, and it also included a patch and a sticker. So this guy's serious, and this thing is serious. You can find it on Bandcamp, and it's pretty much like it's very dark, hateful, just depressing, doomy, sludgy. If you like that kind of thing, you like stuff like like grief, but with a blackened wrapping around it. This is some good stuff. Here's the patch and the sticker. So
Great
thank
logo.
you, bro, man. That's awesome you did that. But yeah, definitely check it out. Demo 2022, Uncross. Good stuff coming out of Salt Lake. I've been noticing that's a scene I've been getting more and more interested in, just more things coming out of there. Lyric sheet. So it's kind of DIY, I guess, in a lot of ways. But I'm very curious to see what you're. All right. Here's the disc with the hypodermics. Look at that. Happy-go-lucky guy. These lyrics are, again, like I said, it's insane and dark. So if you watch he's got his channel. It's the ninth circle, which says it right there, and really cool guy, man. But I don't get the lyrics coming from him, man. Like this is the same guy. So really cool stuff. So I thought I'd at least give him a shout out. And this is definitely one I've been enjoying.
Yeah, put a link in the chat, man, so people can find it quickly.
Yeah,
I was telling Ninth Circle to do that. Sorry. All right, Ben, you're next.
You need some antihistamines, young man.
I better not be getting the crud. I got too much shit to do.
Oh, what do we got here? We got piles upon piles. Okay. So, For Victory was my first Bolt Thrower album. Still remains my favorite Bolt Thrower album.
Good choice.
Probably when I was 22 or something, I was like, all right, let's check out the first one. In Battle There Is No Law. All I heard was punk. That's all I heard. I was like, this is not death metal. This sounds like punk to me. Fuck this.
That's where they came from. That's where they came from. They're all cross punk.
I've come to understand that, but when I was 22, I was just like,
Have you heard Sacrilege's Within the Realm of the Prophecy?
I think I have that, yeah.
It sounds like Bolt Thrower. You could tell where they gleaned their sound from. That the music sounds with Tam singing on it. It sounds like Bolt Thrower with Tam singing. It's crazy how much they stole from that.
The UK kind of crusty kind of stuff, and like that's why this album gets there. So, anyways, I was like, in Battle There's No Law. Fuck this thing. I never want to hear it again. But I'm in a record store the other day, and this was playing, and I didn't know what it was. I had no clue what it was, and it was amazing. I couldn't figure out what it was. It sounded South American. It sounded really early 80s, maybe 84, 85, something like that. I just couldn't possibly. It was fucking venomous. And so I just went by another counter. I was like, whatever this is, I'm buying it. I don't fucking care. And it was the Peel Sessions. Both.
Right on. Yeah. God, I haven't spun that in a while.
Yeah. And I had never heard it before. And like, I haven't like AB'd this to In Battle There Is No Law really, but am I the only one who thinks this is like quite different from their early era?
I have to listen. It's been so long since I've spun that. I have it on tape. That's probably why I haven't spun it in a while.
Much more ferocious and just feral and dirty. And a lot of that's the Peel Sessions sound, of course, but they were just full of piss and vinegar and gnarly.
Yeah.
Those years, yeah.
And so, like, I think I prefer this maybe to the first two albums, at least where I stand. And, like, that experience of just like hearing it with a whole new ear, and like having that removal from knowing what band it was. I feel like just having like dropping in on a band that you like without knowing what it is can just, you let your guard down. You don't know what it is, and you're willing to accept more nuances or be more likely to get into something. And like that experience was just a really special moment for me, and I'm all about this thing right now. And I think I'm going to go back and listen to In Battle There Is No Law, but I can't imagine it's something I'm going to like more than this. Highly like, and I've never heard anybody talk about it. I think Earache did a reissue of it with a different cover. I want to say like a guy's face blowing up or something like that. And this is a bootleg. I would think it was like the OG presses are pretty hard to come by, and Strange Fruit.
Was the OG? Was it ever put out on vinyl? Well, it had to have been at Appeal Sessions.
I
don't know.
I don't know. So this says Strange Fruit. I think this is just like a further bootleg reissue of it, because I don't think anyone has I don't know. You know what? Look it up. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass, but holy shit.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't come across that one that often. You know, I have everything else, but that's one of the ones if I see it around, I'll definitely have to pick it up.
So it was in Extreme Noise, Minneapolis. It's like a old punk crust store that I've
never been there. I need to get there.
Dude, I find so much metal stuff in there. And you know how like you never see Black Mark anything in any stores used or even new anymore? That shit's way out of print. They have tons of Black Mark, Bathory, Edge of Sanity, a lot of stuff, like the big names, of course, but like they have all that stuff for some reason. I don't know how they have a line on Black Mark stuff apparently, and like you better buy that shit up right fucking now if you don't have it already, because that Black Mark stuff is gonna poof. You're never gonna see it again.
If that is a strange, like Chris says here, if that's a Strange Fruit pressing, that might be legit, because Strange Fruit is not a bad label.
For those that don't know, Depeche Mode, like he just did a whole deep dive on both door, like
he did
a couple weeks ago.
So, yep, go check that out.
I think Discogs listed this as a more recent pressing of the Strange Fruit version, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty out of the loop on that. But material wise, man, it's fucking rules. I kind of wish this was the debut of Bull Thrower.
Right on. Okay.
In Battle There Is No Law.
I'm still swimming in the cheese fountain here. It's okay. We did a Wednesday book club on this album at 6s and 7s by Serenia. Their debut album. They're a Norwegian gothic metal band. The guy came from Tristania, or is that how you say it?
Tristania?
Something like that. Whatever. I gotta say, I've had a hard time letting this one go. I picked it. I like it. It's super cheesy. It's like if Dimmu Borgir got together with Sisters of Mercy. Is modern, kind of, I don't know. It's just a little bit all over the place. It is so stupid catchy. There's so many earworms on this record. The hooks, the drums are super synthetic, which, you know, if they're emulating the Sisters of Mercy sound, obviously Sisters of Mercy had Dr. Avalanche, which was a drum machine. So they're trying to program metal drums here, and it doesn't bother me. I think I get what they're trying to do here. College goth music. Exactly. I don't know why I like this record so much. Either I'm a sucker for hooks. This thing is filled with them. I like the lady's vocals on here. She's got a innocent voice. It's super solid and innocent. I'm really picky when it comes to that stuff. And for some reason, she's got just kind of an unassuming voice, but it's really talented. I don't know. This album does it for me. I also have been, this is kind of the one after it. It's basically the same album rewritten. Not as good, but still good. But after that, the lady kind of took over the singing, and they kind of lost me. But this record record does it for me. It checks all the boxes just for being so catchy. And the guy, there's a good heavy emphasis on death and black metal vocals on it. And he's got a really good voice. So I don't know.
What are the guys in the Wednesday stream? Did you guys call it like a lady in the water or a drowning lady thing?
Yeah. That usually doesn't bode well for the album. I mean, this was Napalm Records in the early 2000s. Yeah. You had Mac Tatus had Naked Witches on it. He had that Scabba Ding Dong band. the Naked chick. They all have like the same model on all their album
He's
covers.
not positioned like that goes from like the Raiders of the Lost Ark right before your face melts.
Yeah.
Right. By all intents and purposes, that should totally suck.
This should suck. I mean, I got this as a promo. I'm like, oh boy. I threw it in. I'm like, okay. I wanted to hate it, but I couldn't hate it. It was too good.
I'm willing to come back to it. I give it a little listen, but I realized like it reminds me of a certain era where symphonic metal kind of stuff got like more orchestral, especially when Dimmy Borgir like really started to take off. Where like I don't want it to be really, really complex orchestral. I want it to just kind of be there
dial down a
along with
little.
the riffs, but not like over fancying the stuff, if you will.
I in confidence, you sent me that message saying how it didn't bother you, and I'm like, oh, Ben is ready to have a little bit of fun with me over here on the cheese side.
That's how Therian lost me. You know, at the beginning I was okay. I was like, all right, and then they just went way over the top at some point. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I first heard Vavin from them or something. I don't fucking get it, man.
Felly, I think, was the first, or not the first one, but I really liked that band early output. You know, Beyond Sanctorum, of Darkness, classics, great. And then,
so I always suggest an alternative. If you kind of like the Therion stuff that's like cheesy, there's a band called Hollenthon. You guys remember that band?
that's a dude from Pungent Stench.
It is. And they had their first album is kind of along those lines, cheesy, kind of nihilish, but like slow and dirgy. And I want to say, doesn't Vintersword sing for them? I'm making that up. Tangent.
John, I gotta say, Milwaukee Metal Fest, I was super excited, but the more I got to thinking about it, if a fest could be transported into a human form, the human form would probably have a monster tattoo tramp stamp. I'm just that's kind of how I get the whole vibe of the Milwaukee Metal Fest. But you know,
There's
I
a lot
could
of
be
great bands on it.
there's some good bands on it. Not a lot of black metal. Not that that matters, but I don't know.
If they had brought that thing back with like the underground level of stuff that they did back in the day, it wouldn't be successful. So they've got to like come out big and then I think kind of work their way down into the soil.
Yeah. All right. I just went, so it's Rick's turn again.
Yep.
I'm gonna go grab a tissue because I gotta go blow some of this crap out of my nose. So talk a lot. I'll be right back.
Couple of them. You're gonna need them all night.
This is more for Ben anyway. You wouldn't know this one right away. So I've been going through the stack of stuff I bought from Pat. So Ground Zero, you know, it's got some good stuff, a little bit of the taste and stuff that I like. Even stuff that's a little crusty. Yeah, so I picked up the Dryad. Abyssal Plane. I know these guys are your friends.
Yeah. Tight homies. I saw them last night.
And yeah, so you know, recently decided to try them out, and this is the glow in the dark edition, by the way.
Nice.
And you know what, like for this kind of thing, and it's as spooky as this album is, I think is very, very fitting.
Yeah.
You know that he went that route. And well, I think probably Prosthetic put this one out. And I gotta say though, it's not for everybody, but this is some good stuff. It's got a little bit, it's very creepy. You know, try turning off the lights and playing this, you know, with that glow in the dark record sitting on there on the turntable. And this stuff just has with that atmosphere, that keyboard, whatever that thing that they're using, you know, it's it's not like straight out ballsy black metal. It's got a little bit of other stuff in there too. It's very creative. Claire, what's her name? Claire.
Yep.
Her voice is just otherworldly too. Grimtooth's guitar. It's just this is some good stuff. Yeah.
It's like the songwriters are the black metal section of the band, but the rhythm section, the drummer and the bass player are total crust punks. So there's this sweet little 50-50 amalgam going on that makes for a pretty nice mixture.
The Abyssal Plane. So this is their debut, right? They've had a few EPs, demos before this. So they formed a couple years ago. And yeah, I'm glad to see they, you know, were able to put out, because I've been kind of curious about what like a proper good studio output, even though, you know, this is, you know, proper full length, it still sounds quite raw, you know, for a debut, but I think it's very intentional, you know, kind of sound. If you're looking for something eerie, a little bit of a punk edge, but still quite black metal. I mean, these guys do it pretty good. And they're from your neck of the woods, right? Iowa City, I believe.
Just down the road.
There you go.
They're buds.
Yeah. If I was in the studio when they were doing that, I would have said, "Can we turn the high end down just a little bit? It's really grating and nasty." And
says the guy with fucked up ears.
That's
You
why,
should
yeah.
not be mixing anything, boy.
It's but like most people, they're saying it's great, but it's a little too nasty.
Yeah.
I love it though. It's the same reason why I was showing that on Cross earlier. It's just something about heavy and just how eerie and nasty is just the way it's all thrown together. I like the ugly stuff. So
And then
again,
in between the songs, there's like these piano-y kind of interludes that are kind of like really 90s black metal. And Claire does all that stuff, and she's got a solo thing going on that's kind of like John Carpenter kind of soundtracky kind of stuff. She's only doing it live at this point. I think she may have recorded it by now. It should be out maybe by the end of the year, but it's called Mystic Cross.
They take influences from like The Fog and like movies kind of along those lines, because I do get that vibe.
Yeah.
Love those movies.
So if you love her like melodicism, Mystic Cross should be coming out here in the next year or so.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's dropped in January. I mean, I don't think it's going to be in a lot of people's end year list unless this is particularly your kind of taste. Like it's just, again, it's just so out there. But but
I want to say it came out in December. I think I put it on my year ender, but I did my year ender in like March. So yeah, that's probably why.
Maybe because you just knew about it well before everybody else. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I had it like back in June of last year or so.
I cannot believe Klaus Meine is 75 years old. That is insane. He still sounds pretty good, man. Still sounds pretty good. All right, Ben.
Okay. What should we do here? The Moaning?
That's a pretty good record. I heard it a long time ago. I thought it was kind of average, but I think it's held up pretty well.
Dude, yeah. So the Majesties thing has really got me on fashion stuff, Swedish stuff. I was taking mad notes when Tanner was on. Like, even though I could like call Tanner at any moment of the day and pick his brain on this kind of stuff, I've just been like really swirling back into the 90s and no fashion stuff and digging through a lot of old Swedish demos and stuff. And I've had this on my want list for quite a while. I think Floga did a version of it in 2017 that I missed out on, didn't hear about. But so they repressed it this year, and Nuclear War now has copies of it. Yeah, man. You can't talk about this album without saying no fashion. So the Abyss Studios, I think, but I want to say no, Peter Tägtgren. This is like the good era of Peter Tägtgren. I won't spend time shitting on Peter Tägtgren at this very moment.
Did you just give him a compliment?
This is one of the albums that he did good. That's one of the things about Peter Tägtgren. He did a good job for a couple of years. Then,
what about the Abyss stuff? Do you like the Abyss production stuff?
I do. Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of like nocties, but maybe a little more blackened. This, I mean, has like the more shrill kind of more in the dissection realm of things than your Swedish death metal-y kind of stuff. But God, just a riff fucking salad. And I don't know, Necrolord artwork.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that. It's one of those. I have an OG press of it on CD, and I love that fact so much. I'm so lucky to have a copy that I get on vinyl too.
Right on.
But yeah, if Swedish melodicism is your thing, gnarly stuff like Cythereal, dude, don't sleep on this guy. I was surprised to see Roger Korvik. He was like, I got it. It's okay.
And he's right. I mean, for the time it came out, it's okay. It's aged well. I would agree with Roger on that one.
All these reissues are coming out now. Finally,
okay is my favorite shit.
I remember one point looking for that CD, and it's just the prices they were asking for that was beyond stupid. So I was like,
stupid.
Man.
All right. Well, we were speaking a little bit at length about them, so I might as well show this. Therion, Time Shall Tell. This is a bootleg of their first EP and some demo stuff, so it's basically a full-length album. It's got a Venom Witching Hour cover on it. The sound quality is good throughout. It's well done. It's a cool release, and I never had the EP. Every time I tried to buy it on vinyl, it was a little outside of what I wanted to pay for just a couple songs. But this is my favorite era of Therion. I love this. I love Of Darkness. I love Beyond Sanctorum. The whole Draken, whole Megas is okay. That was when they started to channel their Celtic Frost appreciation in it, and it went it's like leaving, a steak on the dashboard while you run and do some other errands. It's gonna turn. That's what happened with this band. They turned, and it's not for the better.
It kind of remind me what Tiamat went through. Like their sound changed too quickly from that sound.
Yeah,
like right away. I was like, man, I missed that era.
Yep. This is a CDR bootleg. It's really well done. It's pro. It's cool. Definitely, if you see this online, check it out. Good shit.
Is that so it's like the first demo?
I don't know.
Let's see.
There's 12 songs on it. I think the first EP, the CP is like a 3-song EP, wasn't it? If memory serves, or was it more than that?
So there's like demo tracks, and then the EP, and then the track from the Projection of the Stained Mind compilation, and then some tribute thing.
Things that make you go, Anyway, Rick, you're up.
Well, this seems like the logical path. You showed the Moaning, Therian, so I'll stay in Sweden. And these just got reissued, and really, really happy about these. Very different era, very different sound.
Yeah, very different.
Of course, this is before Peter took on vocals, and I've been wanting these forever. On vinyl, but again, another one. So you're not going to stay very long unless they decide to do another pressing, but there's no word on that. Once these run out, I think about 1,300 of these. I'm just glad they finally put them on a turntable and just kind of revisit this time period, because it's kind of like Swedish bands doing the Florida sound, at the same time, which is quite cool. And I also like that they kind of have that same feel, but it's two very different artists for the covers. Wes Bedscott are here. Amazing, still doing stuff today. And can't forget about Seagrave, who was essential for that era, Penetralia. And any one day, any one of these could be, I think I might listen to this one just a little more than this one. But I don't know. I like this era. I know some people go, in every issue, the Fourth Dimension, also. So, it's hypocrisy. What can I say? But again, it's a different kind of hypocrisy. Before they went the whole alien thing.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely a big style shift on the Fourth Dimension. That thing was a big pivotal album for that band.
I never really got into much of their stuff, and I always wanted to get those two albums because I know they're great. I've never got my hands on OG copies, and it's time to get the represses, I think.
I figured I'd just pull those two in particular for tonight, so I can left behind the final chapter in Fourth Dimension for now.
Yeah. My friends were into that when I was getting into metal, and I was just like, I liked most of the things they threw at me, but that stuff was too hokey or cheesy.
I didn't like them at first either. It's actually, I wasn't into like the metal death at all, like or anything in that direction. That's why I think kind of why I gravitated towards this back in the day. It was more of the Florida. I was more familiar with that sound, not so much into the Swedish guys quite yet.
I think as the story goes, Tatgren was in Florida as like a 13-year-old or something like that. And I think he saw Malevolent Creation live, and he was like, I'm going to go home and do this. And I think he met Phil Fasciana, and it was like, I love you, dude. That was great. I'm going to go do that for the rest of my life.
Yep. And right on. He has. And different styles of like that Pain stuff. There's been a couple Pain albums I've heard that were pretty catchy. I haven't followed it. He's done Landforman Project. He's been in Abyss, we talked about earlier. Not the studio, but the band, The Abyss. It's basically Hypocrisy's Marduk worship. But it's good shit. He's a talented dude, and he seems like a nice guy. I interviewed him for Metal Maniacs back in the day, and Wagner told me a little tip. He's like, get him talking about Kiss, which I know you can do. And man, we nerded out about Kiss when he was there. Wagner took him around to some of the, the hot spots, their rehearsal space and their first, show and all this crap. And it was cool. That really broke the ice settling into he's super nice guy, man. Super nice. Very cool.
Love him.
Yep. I know. You're on his shit list somewhere. There's a shit. I don't know who this Brainsmasher guy is, but I hope he chokes on a chicken bone.
He posted my video on his Facebook, and he's like, What albums has this guy ever fucking produced?
Let me introduce you to Satan's almighty penis.
Yeah. Yeah, me.
Touche, Peter.
At this point, that video is so like buried in my videos. I don't think anybody knows what we're talking about.
Right.
Hopefully.
All right, you're up, Ben.
I am. So this was from my road trip stack, and we're staying in Sweden. One of my favorite bands, but an album that I didn't have a copy of for quite a while until a couple years ago. But Crimson.
Oh my God, that album rule. I also talked to Swano on the phone for that interview. Interviewed him for Worm Gear. What a nice guy. Oh my God, so nice.
Yeah. I think we all have a big crush on Dan Swano, right?
He's a super nice dude.
Amazing producer, amazing
talent.
musician.
That's the other problem. He's just a super nice dude.
Yeah.
It's hard to not like a guy like that.
Yep.
And is there anybody else who's as prolific as Dan Swano? And like so many of his projects are really fucking good and really different from one another.
Have you heard the one song he did on a split 7-inch with Infested called he made a project called Dark Side?
I was just gonna ask you about that. Yeah, this is the thing. Like,
dude, it is it's a precursor to Bloodbath. It is 10 times more brutal and destructive than Eaton, the song Eaton that he wrote. It is just down to filthy awesome. It is so good. I got the split 7-inch. It is great. It is a great song. Only song he ever did for that project.
Do you think that kind of came out of Infested kind of into Bloodbath?
Well, Infested was kind of a deicide worship thing, and then this Dark Side was just it's like Sweet Death, but like tuned super low, just like farting guitar sound, but with melody and just super sick low vocals. Very good.
I gotta recheck that out. You talked about it a couple years ago when I listened to it, and I don't think I ever looked into
it. It's spelled DARKCYDE. It's spelled goofy. It's like a goofy. It's a goofy spell.
I would look over that most days of the week.
Dude, it's a sick song. I promise. It is really good. So good. It makes that 7-inch worth it.
But this is a band I feel like most guys of our generation are like championing and saying like, don't let this band fall into the forgotten past because Edge of Sanity
they're great.
Amazing. Such a good. And so this album was kind of their weirdo experimental kind of thing, but it's not very
perfect. Weird. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's all one song. It kind of like flows so well. It's captivating enough that the fact that it's one song doesn't alienate you from listening to it from front to back most of the time. And like most of the time when an album is gimmicky like that, it's like, I'm going to get you for one song. It's going to be 75 minutes long. I'm like, fuck you. But this thing is perfect.
Yeah, but he knows how to hold your attention too and just keep you there.
Yeah.
Those albums.
I was always fascinated by how he would kind of project this personality. Like, I play metal and I'm pretty good at it, but mostly I listen to prog.
Yeah. And there was a time where he didn't want to do brutal vocals anymore, which is a shame because he's so good at it. Like on Crimson 2, he had Ackerfeld from Opeth do a lot of vocals.
I was going to say, sound a lot like that other Swedish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he comes back and does Moon Tower, which is all him doing proggy death metal. And then he's got another project called Winterscape.
Oh, yeah, that's just good too.
I love it, man. It's like him channeling Opeth, but the second album has got some brutal vocals on it. So good. Heavy, catchy, super melodic, proggy, weird death metal. It's good. Good stuff.
Also, side note, Maceration have a new album from last year. I listened to a little bit of it, and it's great.
Is he on that? I have no idea. Maceration.
Yeah, they did a full length in '92. Wait
a minute. Is this he's got videos? It's like one guy in the videos singing. No, I don't know.
It could be what the videos. And he let's see, what did he do? I'm getting mixed information. It doesn't look like he was in the band until now. I don't know. Maceration's A Serenade of Agony is kind of like an old school underground Swedish death metal thing. Actually, they're from Denmark.
Huh.
Anyways, he's on the new album and it's great.
All right. I am up. I will grab that 7-inch here in a second after I show what I've been listening to. I recently got a bunch of CDs from my friend S. Craig Zoller, who I talked to today or yesterday. I don't remember. Cheers to you, Zoller. He's going to be on again soon when he is available. This was in it. I have not heard an Artillery album. These guys are Danish. They're from Denmark, which would make them Danish. This is their latest album. It came out in 2021. It's called X or 10, I guess, if you want to go Roman numerals. It's their 10th album. The only albums by this band I have are Terror Squad, Fear of Tomorrow, and By Inheritance. I have them all on cassette. They're always kind of a strange working man's type of thrash. Kind of off, not super thrashy, but solid, good stuff. I like those early albums. So I have not heard anything from this band until this. So I popped this on the other day as I was working, and not gonna lie, I like it. It's not what they sounded like in the past. It is very modern sounding. It does not sound like thrash at all. It sounds like US power metal, if that makes sense. Like
Hellstar.
I hear moments of Testament, though Testament is not power metal. Don't get me wrong here. I hear Germany's Brainstorm on here. It's not thrash. It's just kind of really solid heavy metal with some thrash moments. It gives it kind of a, like Metal Church. It would fit. I could see these guys opening for Metal Church. I could see these guys opening for Testament. It would work really well. This is a long album. There's bonus tracks. I mean, look at the track list. There's a lot of shit going on here. But the album held my attention for the whole thing. It's produced really well. Is it something I'm going to listen to a lot? It isn't, but I really enjoyed my time with it. I'll probably spin it a couple more times before I slip it into the void. But
Yeah.
That's the last one with George Madsen. He passed away this year.
He did. Yep, exactly. And I was surprised how good this is. Like I said, I've got no point of reference other than their first 3 releases. So it's been a lot of years since I've heard this band. I knew they changed. I think I did see a video where I'm like, doesn't it sound like the same band? It doesn't. But if you like heavy metal, this is a good record. It's on Metal Blade, and it sounds like it belongs on Metal Blade, if that makes sense. I like it. I like Metal Blade. I like metal.
You like metal, huh?
I like metal. It's pretty cool. And this is a pretty cool record. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy this record, but if you come across it and it's cheap, you're going to like it. If you like stuff like Brainstorm and Testament and, stuff like that. Good shit.
That's one of those bands I need to check out their later material. I always go back to their 80s stuff, My Inheritance is still my favorite.
Oh,
I feel like I know exactly what that's going to sound like looking at the cover.
Oh, sure. And it does sound like that. And it's produced really well. It's crisp. It's a good metal record. I'm not going to lie. The guy's a good singer. He's not an overwhelmingly great singer. Hey, Christopher Barker, go see Halloween on this tour and you can spend $50 and get this shirt.
Only $50.
Only $50. But yep. I'm going to go find that 7-inch while Rick talks. I'll be right back.
All right.
Dark Side.
So I got something fun, and you may notice I have a funny looking flag in the back.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Another Salt Lake project, and you guys know A-Lick. Yes, pronounced A-Lick. I checked with Sean Matty and corrected me. So if people say E-Lick, E-Lick, A-Lick.
Wait,
and,
on
this is
Instagram or something.
I hear it said different ways, when people talk about the last album. The funny P, and you can tell you're gonna need something Karen's and kind of just do the whole parody. So in my wheelhouse, I saw this. I'm like, anything like this and parodies, it's like I'm just that cartoon character floating in the air, smelling the pie, and I was just gravitated towards this. And I mean, look at this. They got a sense of humor, dark sense of humor. It's I would probably put this on a more mellow death. It's quite melodic for what it is, but they can get pretty brutal. This was released first as a limited tape. It was only like 10 copies, and it was the demo material for this, and it came with like a ring, with the logo, which is pretty cool. But again, nobody had it because it was 10 copies. So was happy to know that pushed out this CD, and so it's 4 tracks. But if you notice, it's 8 tracks, which are the other 4 are the demo versions. So you don't have to miss out. But cool stuff. The only thing I found odd was the very last track, the Hessian, kind of, it sounds like it throws like these electronic elements in there. So, and I don't think they want to be lumped in as one particular kind of thing, even though, like I said, I think most of the stuff they put out is sort of death metal, melodic death metal, but they can get quite brutal. And then they're introducing things like those electronics in here. So it looks like they're open to experimenting with all kinds of different things. But yeah, it's on their Bandcamps. Pretty cool. Like I said, you just out of Salt Lake City, and this guy's definitely, you can tell they're real fans, you know, of this kind of stuff. So it says here West Bench. I don't know if it's just like if this is just them or independently produced. I'm not sure, but good stuff. Really funny.
You're all about the jokes.
Yeah, it ain't even signed it. Look at that. I got a SIG and a sticker. There you go.
I love when you buy on Bandcamp and just the guys just seem like so thankful that you bought something like straight from them. They throw a lot of extra goodies into an envelope and make it seem
that kind of personal touch. It's just, I always appreciate it, you know. And then they give you the option, like when you check out, it's like, do you want us to sign this shit?
Good.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
What did you show? I missed it.
Oh, that little thing back here. Have you ever run into a Karen? There you go.
You buy the craziest shit, man.
It's good stuff. I think you would like it, Marty. It's falls in that sort of metal death. Very well done, very well produced, very well performed. I think you dig it. It's at Majesty's level. No, I don't think it's trying to be, but you know, it's a little EP. It's a fun, quick listen, but really cool.
Sweet. Before Ben jumps on, I just want to show what we were talking about here. This is that Dark Side Infested split. This is all Swano type stuff. The Dark Side's one song. I think they're both just one song. Lord of Evil. It's the structure is a little weird. It's got Dan Swano and Day Desira from Pandemonium and Raul Pauga on drums. I don't know who the hell that is. You recorded Unisound in '94, and then
Raul Pauga is Dan Swano.
Is it really? See, I had no idea. So probably Day Destroyer is also him as well. Day Destroyer.
Oh, Dark Side with a C, right? It's not Dark Side with a
Yep, it's him.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And then Dead Earth, Swano, and then Dread on vocals. It basically Infested is it sounds a lot like Deicide to me, a Swedish Deicide, but man, this Dark Side song is brutal. Lord of Evil. Look it up. It should be on YouTube. It's worth checking out. It's like
the way you were describing it, it kind of reminds me, like, you know, that band Molested.
Yeah.
It's like kind of really dark and really unsettling. Like, it's anything like that.
Yeah, it might be a little more knuckle dragging than that. It's just so. Oh, and I also want to show this to Ben too.
Nice. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Very cool.
Somebody should do like a discography of like all their EPs and demos.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. That'd be another things to make you go moment. Okay. Who's next? Ben.
Yeah, I picked this up in Louisville. I only got 2 LPs there. I couldn't really. So I went into a record store, and the pictures from the record store, it showed like gospel section, and I was like, all right, whatever. There's a lot of CDs there, so I'll probably find some CDs I like. But went on the I don't know, the wrong side of town, and this record store had nothing but Christian music. And they looked at me like I was the first white guy they'd seen in 6 months.
There might have been some cool like, you know, Believer or something in there. You start digging through the Rex Records section, you never know.
I didn't see signs of a white person in the place forever.
Right.
But anyways, I went to another side of town and found a record store that looked kind of okay. Like anymore, when I go to a town and there's a record store, it's all vinyl and it's fucking Ghost LPs for $58, and I'd rather just go eat ice cream. But I did find this kind of hipster record store that had a metal section that was okay. I almost grabbed Individual Thought Patterns for $20, but I looked in their new arrivals section, and I did not go home without the first Death Row.
Oh,
Nice.
classic.
Not very familiar with this band, but Marty is all about them, and
Yeah.
just kind of always meant to spend some time with them.
Yep.
I want to say I have a bootleg of their second album or so, but I don't pull it out very often. But this fucking ripped.
Yeah, their third one's my favorite, but they got really techie and weird. I still love it. It's so good.
When it comes to thrash, I consider myself a German thrash aficionado.
Yeah, I love it.
From the start, like Tankard, your Destruction Creator, that is thrash to me. But for some reason, these guys have always just kind of eluded me. I've never really had any friends that were into this band that much, so they're kind of new to me.
You live in the wrong city, bro. What can I say?
This thing fucking rips.
Rips.
So I think Combat maybe reissued this with a different cover and a different name.
Displeased reissued all the first two a long time ago.
But we got a Noise Combat.
Ooh.
Yeah. And like, so this guy with a big mustache behind the counter was like, "Ooh, I was thinking about picking that up. Are you familiar with this band?" I was like, "Give me that fucking thing."
Yeah. Yeah. The second album, Raging Steel, is really great too. A little more refined.
You ever just get these pedestrian hipsters that just like want to get an album because it has gnarly skulls on it and act like they're a metalhead for 10 minutes? Fuck off.
Or a guy on the back of the album cover from the 80s has a mustache like he does now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you just brewed coffee in a French press at Panera.
Yeah.
I had those days, but that was the goal. I found a labra on something. I'm like, ow.
You know, Rick, we have not seen you with a mustache. That would be pretty. That would be something.
This gives me an idea. What if as many YouTubers as we can possibly get has like mustaches for June? I'll do it.
I think we should get Rick to 2,000 subscribers. If he gets to 2,000 subscribers, he will grow a Fu Manchu mustache. What do you say about that?
It take a while. If I don't shave starting today, I might work my way in. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. It's going to look like a Fu Manchu, a handlebar. I don't know what the form is going to take.
I bet with that glorious mane, you should be able to grow some hair. You'll be good. You'll be fine.
You're going to look like a smashed rat.
Yeah, I'd be worried about that too.
All right, good pick, man. That's a score. That makes the whole dig right there worth.
I knew you were setting us up for something. Like I went to this store and that store. I'm like, oh, here it comes. Like,
ordinarily, like $40 on an LP. I'm like, nah. But I was thinking if I would have found 3 or 4 things that I wanted to take home, it would be $60. So let's just get one fucking thing. Take it home.
For some reason, Simon, I just can't picture you with facial hair. Rick, I think it looks sick. Simon, I don't know. We need that's a great idea. A mustache metal episode. That'd be hilarious.
For Margosian.
Yeah. I tell you, if no one here knows the Metal Theologian, go subscribe to his channel. Some years ago, he grew out this Fu Manchu. He dyed it blonde. He looked like Hulk Hogan mustache. It was the most epic shit I've ever seen on the internet. It was so great. And he didn't care. He rocked it. He carried it with like pride. It was amazing. But yeah, go check that out. I don't know how far you have to go back. It's maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but
how long has he had his channel?
Shit, he was before me. So I'm what, 6-7 years. He's more than that. I don't know. He's been going at it a long time. But
he's not in it for the numbers. He just does his thing, and that's cool.
Ryan found Manitou picture 7-inch at an antique mall today. That's crazy. How much you pay for it, Ryan? Wow. Did you buy it or did you just like, oh, I see you, buddy?
There's so many different pressings of that though. Like I got a recent repress of it, but I've seen there's different listings for different versions of it.
He didn't look. I mean, the mustache looked like Hulk Hogan. It was like the blonde Fu Man. It was crazy. It was so funny. He was so proud of it. Hilarious. All right, up for me after that really killer pull that $12. Oh, fuck, that's killer. Right on, Gandalf beards rule. I just didn't have I couldn't. You see the picture of me in the corner? That was the most beard I've ever had, and I couldn't do it, man. But I had to get rid of it. I was trying to trim it and I fucked it up. So I just anyway, that's irrelevant. Yeah, I butchered it so bad I had to go back to the free candy van guy.
Is it a manliness thing? Because I don't think I never felt like I had the manliness thing enough to be able to, like, it doesn't want to come out.
Dude, oh, you need to have it. You need to have a mustache.
You need to take testosterone supplements or something. I don't know.
Start rubbing some dirt on your face. That'd be good. All right. For me, after that really killer poll that Ben had there, I'm going the opposite direction. We're talking about, I got kind of bit by that gothic bug with the Serenia. So I realized I had not listened to this in a while. So I pulled this bad boy out, Paradise Lost Draconian Times. Man, this album hits the spot sometimes. It just does. It's so cheesy. Nick Holmes doing his best. James Hetfield. I don't know. There's something about the. I hated it when it came out. When this came out, I did not want to hear anything like this at all. But again, the earworm. You know those things they put in your ear in Star Trek, and that's what the music. The sonic earworm is the same thing for me. It makes me do things I don't want to do. But I end up loving this record. I love this record. It's as far away from Lost Paradise as you can ever get. I know, Simon. Just enjoy it. Maybe it's time for you to branch out, Simon. Maybe it's time.
Peaceful band started taking those turns, though. Even like My Dying Bride, when Angel in the Dark River came out, I think it was around that time, right?
I hate that record.
Well, okay, there you go. Exchange of opinions.
Holmes is going for Carl McCoy, but landed on Hetfield. Exactly. But I mean, I like this record. It's catchy. It's very dated sounding. It sounds 90s, but spinning it today, it's still good. It's still a great record. And the album after it, 1 Second, I remember getting that as a promo, laughing, throwing it in the garbage, taking it out of the garbage. I'm like, I gotta review this. And I remember laughing the first time I spun it, but about the third time, I'm like, I kind of like it. I'm such a hypocrite.
Say Just Words is an earworm, man. Like, I had that one on repeat so many times.
It is. And there's something about catchy songwriting, you know, I don't know. It gets me. And I love Draconian Times. It's a beautiful album cover. Very 90s, but still it's very cool. Great record. If you're into the lighter side of Paradise Lost, like Simon probably is, but doesn't want to lose his street cred on the chat. So he's saying things that probably doesn't mean. He didn't have the stones to get on here with us tonight because he's sick. Anyway,
we knew this.
Throw a little curveball at you guys. So, Ben, you showed Riders of Doom. So it kind of reminded me. So I did was on a stream with Jeff and we talked about doom metal. We had Greg Chandler on and those guys, and that was that was on a Friday. And like the next day, my friend Melissa comes over and her husband, and they're looking to purge some things, and then they brought some stuff over that they thought I would dig, and one of them was a record, and it was the soundtrack to the Temple of Doom.
Oh, cool.
And it's not a doom metal album, but it's got its own sense of doom in there. And
is there any band named Temple of Doom? Because that's kind of cool.
I feel like
someone should
have taken that by now.
There should be. That should be an obvious one.
It's such a flick I never get tired of, you know. And this soundtrack just takes me back, you know, to that time. It's just so awesome. I think it was John Williams. He did the score. He did a bunch of things, you know. For years, I didn't know this was supposed to be a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. They just for some reason never made that connection. I always found that Kate Capshaw character annoying, though. Like, you know, the lady in that movie. But cool stuff. And just want to say thank you, Fran and Melissa, for this. Awesome. So I told them I'll give it a shout out. It's a gatefold, pretty cool.
Yeah,
That'd be a pretty cool stage, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be an awesome metal stage?
Yeah.
See Watain up there raging with slathered in
the amount
blood.
of matte paintings and miniatures they had to do for this thing, it's insane. You would appreciate those movies like a lot more now versus everything all CGI, which will all be CGI now.
Sure.
Man, that's quite doomy. So yeah, good soundtrack, really good scores, well done, high production, obviously.
And hi,
I
Tom.
never
I hope
really-
you're doing well, man. It's good to see you in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
All
I've never really been one to listen to like soundtracks of movies that I liked for some reason. I don't know. It's just never really been a thing I've done.
I had a Star Wars soundtrack when I was a kid.
I had that for years and I never listened to it. And I was a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a really embarrassing Star Wars story for me?
Does it involve shitting your pants?
Very close.
Not that fun, huh? All right.
Nailed it. Anyway,
when
go
I was
ahead.
growing up, we had this piano in the house that was like a stand-up piano. And the only place that fit in our house was in this bay window. And so we like pushed it up against the bay window, but like the acoustics were nice because the piano sound would kind of echo out and kind of go throughout the room. And my mom learned to play the Star Wars theme song on the piano. And I fucking went nuts whenever she did it. I would go behind the piano and stick my head inside the piano and just fucking feel the song, which I feel like that's like early metalhead, like I want intense music in my fucking skull. But so one time she was playing that and I had to take a shit, but I was not going to give up my spot with my head in the piano. So I shat in the bay window while my head was stuck in the piano, listening to the Star Wars theme song. And from that moment on, a connection was born. And like if my mom was going to take me out running errands or something, she would play the Star Wars theme song and I would immediately have to take a shit. So she would empty the kid out.
That's your Brown Note album.
Yep.
So happy Mother's Day. Play the Star Wars theme song and shit your pants.
Oh boy.
What's spinning?
What's spinning? Ben, you're up.
All right. Another underground Swedish. I think I'm gonna do all Sweden tonight. Godified.
Cool cover.
They're kind of well known for their Abysmal Grief 7-inch, which is one of those infamous 7 inches that has the album cover that is shared by I think like 40 other releases like Mythic and so on and so forth. But this is a collection that again Floga did back in 2017. And this is like one of those hidden gems where the recollected odds and ends are great, but they found a bunch of exclusive unreleased material that kind of is like way better than all the other stuff, or at least like I often feel that way because it's like undiscovered and you feel like you're like the only one that has heard this thing because no one really talks about this band as far as I know. But it's called Inhumation of Shreds, and it's pretty easy to find for like $25-$30 or so. What I'm missing the chat.
Nothing. I was just laughing at the thing you said with the inhumation of shred or whatever.
Inhumation of Shred. Yeah, it's one of those like really poorly translated things, but I don't know. It's the title of the reissue, anyways. I think Floga is going to reissue the CD version of this, which I would actually prefer because I listened to this quite a bit digitally. When I get an LP, I'm like, okay, I have it, but I don't sit in here and listen to records really very often. I play CDs in the car when I feel like I live out of my fucking car these days, commuting all over the place. So yeah, I have it on LP, but I would really prefer it on CD, and I was kind of hunting for it for a long time. But Metal Threat Fest, Metal Haven was selling most of his black metal collection. And there was some really hot
dude back in the day in the old when they were over by the baseball stadium, that old place, it was a small place. They just had records stacked flat on top of each other in the corners. So much shit. I used to walk in there, Rando and Chris Maycock would be there like, hey, what's going on? You know, Metal Maniacs alumni. We sit there and drink a beer in the middle of the store. It was great. It was so cool. I never saw the place when it moved. I never saw when it got into a bigger. Was it good? I'm sure it was probably.
I did either. I went there in 2003. I think I went up there to see Blind Guardian, maybe their first U.S. appearance. But yeah, there was a metal store like right down the street from the venue, so of course we went. And I remember, it was cramped. It was the most disgusting bathroom I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Just like piles of boxes of magazines and just drippy pipes and just the most Chicago thing you can possibly think of. But I saw a guy in a Rhapsody shirt, and I was like, "Oh, Rhapsody, cool." But he's going to the show, and so like Mark behind the counter was like, "Ah, you going to the Blind Guardian show?" He's like, "No, I'm not really into that kind of music." Like,
What?
What? Blind Guardian? They're right. They're right. Okay, man.
Wow.
But anyways, I got this for like $25 from Mark. He had a ton of gold in that pile. He had like old malicious pressings of
Wow. Yeah.
all kinds of shit there. I couldn't do it. He was getting like sub Discogs prices for them, but
I picked up one of those. Svart had one of those flash sales that it was a couple years back, and when they do it, it's pretty good. It makes the shipping worth it, you know. And that was the one I threw in there, and then I remember really liking that. Never heard of them at the time.
I would pull out a ton of good stuff, and he'd be like, "That's a great album." But I'm like, "What are you doing, man? You getting rid of this?" He's like, "I only listen to like traditional heavy metal these days, and I don't listen to black metal anymore." But that's great. You should get it. Okay, well, I'll pull out $80 out of my PayPal.
I have not found any Rhapsody of Fire CDs. What the dude? I have got probably 5 Rhapsody of Fire CDs sitting in the other room, still in the shrink wrap. I've got between Rhapsody and Rhapsody of Fire, I've got more of their albums than any human should own, but I'm still missing a few. So,
So, are you into the Luca Turilli stuff?
I am. I've got the first album. I do not have the second album.
Really?
It's a slippery slope.
The first 2 are great. The Dream Quest shit can fuck off forever. I don't care.
Right.
It's all opera.
All right. Who is next? I am next. This is in the Zoller box as well. I have no idea what this is, although I listened to it today. And what is it? It's French. I'm assuming pessimissime. I don't know. I can't pronounce this. If anybody can help me out here. Eminence is the name of the album. Wait, is it? Yep. It's a black metal band. The music is really quite inventive and pretty damn good. Kind of melodic dissonance going on. I wish there was. No, there is. The thing that throws this album a little out of whack is it's got kind of like barked hardcore vocals on it. It's really weird. I'm assuming this is French. This is the band Pessimissime. Pessime.
Oh, that's going in silent letters. It just becomes impossible for us.
Can you read French, Ben? What is that? Pessime
Eminence. No, not really.
Okay, the Pessime Eminence. Oops. Like Zoller sent this to me, and the musically, I really like it. It's really dissonant, really well produced black metal. Some very interesting melodic dissonance going on, interesting song structures, and weird stop-start breaks. But like I said, the barking hardcore vocals, man, it kind of throws this album off big time.
I don't know what they were thinking, man.
You've heard this then?
Yeah.
It's a great record if they had a different singer, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the vocals. They're dimensionless and they don't fit. Their music has got so much color and, you know, a palette to choose from. It's just barking hardcore vocals. I don't know. I might need to sit with it a few more times. I don't know if that's going to matter, but I mean,
what would draw me in though? That cover's like, it's just so pretty. I mean, it would just pull me in.
You think this is a very unassuming. This says nothing.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't think it's black metal.
I would flip through and pick this up and look at it. I'm like, look at the back. I'm like, I don't care. There's nothing here that says there's no dragon. There's no scantily clad warrior wizard woman on the front. How am I supposed, or an elf? How am I supposed to know if it's good or not? Stupid. Anyway, it's good.
Nuts across your face.
That's right. It's a good record. I just don't like the vocals. I don't know what to think of it yet.
I looked into it, and like those guys are in a bunch of pretty brutal bands. Like they got a death metal band, a grindcore band, and that thing. And so I don't get it. It's almost like they're being so snooty that they make great music and they want to put like awful vocals on it, so that if you're a poser, you wouldn't want to listen to it because you can't stand the vocals.
Okay, well, Tom once again brings the education to this class. Thank you, Tom. Great.
Totally backwardsness.
Everybody, I'm having a hard time keeping
We're
up with the
just
chat. I'm
singing
starting to get a buzz. Cheers to everybody for coming on. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. What were you gonna say, Rick? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's backwards. I guess we've been saying it backwards the whole time.
Ah.
I don't know. I give up on French. I don't even try. I don't even attempt it.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I was quite the first few chords. I'm like, wow, this sounds pretty killer. And then he starts singing. I'm like, okay, is it going to change? And it doesn't. It doesn't change. There's like a spoken word thing. Yeah.
Hit or miss for me with some of those French bands. You know?
Does he like just scattershot by a bunch of stuff and give you what he doesn't like, or
pretty much, or stuff? He's in a New York apartment filled with stuff. He collects board games. He collects CDs. He collects comics. I mean, and he's only got so many. He only keeps the shit that he feels is worthy of his shelf.
Right.
So I mean, he sends me some killer shit, and what I just disseminate or disperse things that I don't keep to other people as well. So it works for everyone. It's so much fun. And the Zoller, I love getting the Zoller boxes. They're so fun. Hey, if you want to know Ben's thoughts on the new Immortal, it's on the Heavy Metallurgy channel. There's a review he did a week or two ago. Check it out.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
the best.
The best Immortal? Fuck no.
No.
God, no. Yeah, it's okay. I might buy it. I don't know. I'm that band.
I'll buy it. I'm going to buy it. When I listened to what you sent me, I liked. Is it great? It's pretty average, but there's a couple good songs on it. It's pretty good.
I feel like that band has been slowly dying for me for
there you go.
Years.
Simon hit the nail on the head right there.
Yep. Yeah. What was I? Oh, I was gonna say, what I don't get about a Zoller box is like if you were purging like 50 albums every 6 months or something, wouldn't you like stop buying albums eventually?
Oh no, it's in our blood, man. It's in our blood.
He must keep a lot then. Like, does he keep half of what he buys? Maybe.
I don't know.
I can't even fathom that.
I love it. I get so much glee when I get home and I see a giant box. I'm like, I know what that is. And I'm like, yay, yay, yay. I'm like, always stacks and stacks of shit I want to check out. It's so much fun.
The amount of knowledge that guy has is insane. He's into everything, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's into a lot of stuff. He likes soul music. He likes some dance music. He likes dungeon synth, death, black, you name it. He likes it. It's crazy. Eggnog sipping cream. All right, Rick, you're up.
Pretty good.
All right. We put on Godified. I think you mentioned, Ben, Derketa. I think you wanted to see them live at some point. Another one of those bands, and they're great. But if you're looking to scratch that itch, you know about this band. But this is a I guess this is a re-recording I picked up recently from personal records based out of Mexico. So this is a Mystic Charm.
Yeah.
Kind of like Death Doom, right? Out of the Netherlands. So, it's what's her name? Rainy something Lipman, which is she's the vocalist in this band. So there was a period when she left the band, and I forget the dude's name, but he had a male vocalist. And he did the what the hell's the name of the recording? They did a recording, and I think it was around 2000. And it was very underwhelming. So sometime later, they re-recorded it, and it became this. Hell Did Freeze Over. And they brought her back for the recording, and I'm glad they did. This is some good shit right here. Like I've already liked the previous Mystic Chart material, but this is one of those bands that I kind of slipped on everybody's radar back in the day. It just was not a band that was not wasn't really mentioned a whole lot. I didn't discover them until recently. And but this right here, it's a cool re-recording of their stuff. Like I said, I picked it up from Personal Records, so they still have these in stock, but it's good stuff. I mean, again, if you like that stuff in that vein of death metal with that kind of doomy element, like Mythic and Derketa, I think this is something you would really dig.
I did not know about that. That's an excellent pick.
Yeah, I'm really digging this. I was gonna show it probably in my next update or whatever, but it's like screw it. Everybody needs
I'm
to
gonna
know
order
about
that
this.
as soon as we're done. I found Shadows of the Unknown in a pawn shop 20 years ago for like $2, and I thought this looks pretty cool. And I didn't really get into it until I got way older and more into the slower death metal kind of stuff. And that thing fucking rules. I think Nuclear War Now did a 12-inch version a couple years ago.
They did. Yeah, Shadows of the Unknown. What was the other one? Which I forget the name. Was it Lost Empire?
Yeah.
It might have been like a combination of both.
Have you heard that band, Marty?
What, Missy? I have not.
Dude.
It's good. You like this.
Like slower asphyx, maybe, kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, crunchy is all fuck. It's great.
Sweet.
I gave my copy of the way to Tanner because we're good buds. And we give each other presents.
Laps, you fucked up. It was an amazing show. You watch the beginning. We go on a bit about the show. We talked about it. So I'm not going to go into it again other than it was great. If you can scrape up the cash, go. It's so good. So good. Anyway, Ben, you're up.
Scrape it up. And another one double dipping from my last collection update, but this thing deserves a lot of praise. You guys familiar with Dark Millennium at all?
I've heard the name. I have not heard. Is that another Roga recommendation?
Yeah, Roger. So they were a death metal band in the 90s. They're a hard band to pigeonhole, but Ashore the Celestial Burden was their album from like 94, I want to say. It's one of those Massacre
just started
band.
getting into a kick. Dark Millennium kick with this band. Yeah, they fucking rule.
Yeah, that's it, man.
It's quite progressive.
Yeah. Is that one of the coolest album covers you ever seen?
That's a really cool album cover, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of
I even
stuff
really
going
like
on.
it. This
Just looking
cover.
at that's insane. It's like something
So
you get from Atheist or Cynic, but just more acid thrown to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a weird gem. But yeah, a good old band that a lot of people have forgotten about. They did another album a couple of years ago that I haven't heard. But when Roger talked about this one, I was interested, and it's really winning me over. Like when Roger Korvik says it's his album of the year, you buy it.
He's going to be coming on Heavy Metallurgy too. I reached out to him. He says he's down, so we need to figure it out. The last month has been fucked for me for planning anything. So a lot of people I'm going to bring on. It's going to be a minute. Anyway, go ahead.
He's one of my favorite YouTubers. I watch most of his videos.
Yeah, me too. He's a great. He seems like a great dude, and he shows a lot of killer shit. He knows what's up.
Greetings, Metal community.
Yeah,
but this thing, I can't really remember what their first album was like enough to compare it to this one. So I'm kind of thinking of this singularly. But man, talk about like an Edge of Sanity kind of deal. With like dissection of vocals. Really, really good. Lots of kind of clean guitar strewn throughout. A lot of kind of different ideas. It's just really a not typical, not boring kind of thing. It's probably going to be about 10 listens before I really start to like remember parts to it because it's really complex, super textured and well thought out. It's just, at first I was like, these vocals are way too fucking loud. I don't think I can handle this right now. And I came back to it. And I still keep coming back to it and kept coming back to it. And like the vocal performance is astounding. So I kind of get why it's kind of at the front. Maybe I'm just kind of hearing it in a weird way, or it sounds different digitally than on the CD or something.
It's a very atypical kind of death metal. Bands like Phlebotomized, it kind of reminds me of too, where they get a little weird and avant-garde at times.
Yeah. Maybe a little more down to earth, like an Edge of Sanity, like not too totally bonkers proggy. I think this is totally up anybody's alley if they're into something a little bit challenging, but not too out of the ordinary. It's great songwriting. I haven't heard a vocalist like put that much just sheer anger in a performance in a long time. It is scintillating.
And yes, everybody that said Alan did a fine job in my absence, he does not need me. Let's be honest here, folks. I'm a hindrance to this man. He tolerates me, but
We're a little out of
I
bounds
love him
here
for
because we don't have a professor tonight, but I
it. No,
think we'll be all right.
we did all of our learning on the streets in this chat, boys. Oops, what's that? All right, okay, I'm up next. A couple weeks ago, we had Dwayne on the stream with us, who does the Lazarus YouTube channel. Super great dude. He showed this record, Lord Vigo, and I'm like, where do I recognize that? It was in the Zoller box. I'm like, oh shit! So I went and I dug it out, put it on, and it's pretty damn good. Epic Doom. Is it super groundbreaking? It isn't. It's on High Roller Records, but it's a solid record. I listened to it twice. I wish I could remember it. I don't. I remember liking it enough to listen to it twice. It needs to go on a few more times to soak
Did you
it
go right
in.
to another German band because Ben showed a German band? It just seems like an interesting.
We're linked. We're linked.
I'm going to another country next. We're gonna see if you follow.
We did stay in Sweden for a while there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start to go into some different styles here in a little bit. But anyway, this is a good record. I need to spin it a little bit more to get used to it. But thanks, Dwayne, for turning me on to this. Thankfully, it was in a pile of stuff I hadn't listened to yet. Good stuff.
Yeah, Brian Arkham sent me a copy of that LP actually a little while back. So it's cool. You know, we're talking about movie soundtracks and stuff like that's based off of Ghostbusters. So if anybody was wondering, he's named after the villain.
Oh yeah,
in Ghostbusters. So.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that particular album, it's a Blade Runner concept.
There you go, TJ. Check this out. Blade Runner concept.
Yeah, there you go.
He's in the chat somewhere. He's a big Blade Runner fanatic.
Yeah, band's great.
All right, Rick, you are back, sir.
So, you know, speaking of things that people send my way, so if you guys are familiar with Scott Wilcox, has a channel called No Solution, and so he sent a couple CDs my way, and this is one of them that I've been really enjoying. It's a band called Oreshkagol, the Aressels Arisen. Yeah, so it's got that real like old school look to it. There's another band with the same name from Mexico, which is quite black metal, but it's not that band. This is from Greece, and these guys have been around a while, since the early '90s. But they've only released 2 albums. I think a couple demos and stuff in between. But like the last one was in 2005, so this one dropped in 2020, and you can tell these guys are pretty much stuck in the '90s. And but I don't mind it. It kind of has that feel of it kind of sounds like old Slayer, but maybe not as fast. The rips are really punchy. But production's still raw, stripped back, but everything's still very clear. And it has touches of that sort of bit of that first wave black metal on top of that. So, but really good stuff. I mean, being from Greece in the '90s, you'd think these guys would move more in that sort of, I guess, that Rotting Christ vein of things, but they stayed more thrash. I was surprised how much I really like this. Oreshka Goal.
Okay, Erebos Arisen.
The Erebos Arisen.
That's new material though.
I don't know what so the last one was in 2005, the last the last full length. So they've had a lot of time in between to work or rework material, and so they took that long hiatus. I would imagine a lot of this is fresh or redone. So but there's still you put this on, you would not think it came out in 2020. This sounds very, I mean, it could be 1992, 1993. It kind of around that time when the bands were kind of figuring out the thrash transition to black metal. It kind of stays in that lane.
Nice.
But,
that sounds interesting. That's another Floga release. We were showing a lot of Floga stuff tonight.
Yeah, that's
good label.
I think if Floga is doing like all those stupid tape boxes.
They are totally.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
Darkness shall rise.
But,
tapes shall rise into the garbage.
I'd be curious to know what you think. I think this might be something you might dig. So he said it's my way. I mean, he had a good feeling that this is something that I would like. So thank you, Scott.
It's like a cool pick.
I just want to say sorry for the drunk typing in the chat, everybody. I'm a little buzzed. I just realized I did 2 whole shows where I did not drink a drop of alcohol at, which is bizarre, but I did it. Now I'm drinking because
I need to get another beer. That reminds me.
I don't have to drive my kid around, nor do I have to drive a bunch of friends around, bandmates around. So I can tear it up a little bit. Cheers.
A new grocery getter.
My golden chariot.
All right,
Shame.
We got Sweden, Cryptic Kerberos.
Be right back.
Get all the Sweden out of the way. A Mind Confused, Hypocrite, Ishtar, and Vermin. All right. Anyways, we're getting Sweden out of here. Listen to this on the road trip down to Louisville.
I haven't spun that in ages.
That's why I picked it. And these guys re-recorded all of this, the EP2. I don't know.
Yep.
And they're touring this stuff, and I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. I can't pass.
What did you think of the It sounded really weird.
I think I listened to it on my phone for a bit, and I was like, "This is pretty ferocious." But when you're sitting on the toilet, a lot of things sound ferocious.
Like you're crying. For me, it's ferocious weeping.
Like I haven't heard a second of Soulfly. When Max Cavalera left Sepultura was done to me.
Yeah.
So like
they were done after Roots for me. Man, that record was like someone shit in my Wheaties, snaked a coil, a Brazilian coil.
This stuff is just so foundational and perfect. This is a cool pressing. It's got a gold disc. It's got Bestial Devastation thing on it.
Really warrant a gold disc?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. A bunch of 15-year-olds.
Didn't they just announced they're going to re-record that recently?
They did
somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds ferocious. And so they toured the Arise and Beneath the Remains, I believe, last year. I was thinking about going, and it came to Chicago, and Chicago's kind of a slog, and I didn't go, but I kind of kicked myself for not going. So
how far is Chicago from you?
It's about 3.5 hours now.
That is I just drove 10 plus hours to Louisville and 4 to fucking Detroit. Anyway,
the drive to Chicago is not a problem. Being in
Chicago, I will agree. Chicago is a train wreck of a driving problem. Get your car to the damn hotel valet parking and take cabs everywhere. If you've never been, it's a nightmare. I haven't been there in years, and it was shit then. I can't imagine how bad it is now. It's got to be horrible. Louisville was not bad. Indiana, driving around Indianapolis, that was a freaking nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
But yeah, you should all know this thing. It's a great ripper. It's been a long time. I'm trying to challenge myself to just go back and dig in through my boxes and pull out stuff that I already love and haven't listened to in years. I'm sick of saying I haven't listened to that in years. I'm even kind of thinking about kind of turning it into a video series where I just pull out something that I haven't played in a long time and just revisit it and enjoy old classic shit like that instead of pulling out the new thing all the time and getting tired of it.
Hey, Glenn, sorry to interrupt you, Ben. Glenn, you live in Southern Michigan. Did you go to the Halloween show Wednesday night? If not, you should have. If not, you fucked up. Anyway. Was that it, Ben?
Yeah, Sepultura, more visions. I'll let you know how it is live. I bet I'm going to have a blast.
Where are they playing? Chicago?
They're coming to Iowa, actually. Des Moines.
Wow. Okay. Right on.
Yeah. Not much stuff comes here to Iowa, so I'm not going to pass it up.
Brian, they already did record it. There's re-record it. There's clips of it online. It sounds weird. It's weird. It's
I think
cool.
the general consensus has been, holy shit, this is not horrible.
Yeah, well, they're not 16 anymore.
They're not. All right. Well, I have not technically heard this whole album yet. Alan mentioned this as a call to arms in one of his reviews, and I checked it out, liked it, and ended up buying the record. I'm very excited to listen to it. It's the Bloodstar record, First Sighting. Got a lady singer on here who actually sounds pretty damn sweet and pretty aggressive heavy metal from the US. I think they're from the US. This came out on Shadow Kingdom. Yeah. what I've heard, it's aggressive, well done, traditional heavy metal. She's got a melodious but aggressive voice. I love the cover artwork. I'm very excited for this record. I showed it because I'm trying to get myself time to sit and listen to it, but hasn't happened yet. But I'm gonna try to happen next week. So I'll report back. But the clips I've heard thus far, very encouraging. I can't wait. I mean, if this guy can rock a leopard print top without fear, then check out. See, Rick. Well, let's see here. We got 3 mustaches. Which one is Rick? Is this a Rick stash? Is this a Rick stash? Or is this a Rick stash? We going Fu Manchu? We're going longer? Or we going party porno 70s stash?
I feel like they all are appropriate for party porno. It would just look weird on me with the bass playing in the background while I'm sporting that. Just saying.
So people in the chat, vote which one. We're going with the Fu Manchu for Rick. We're going with the party stash, or they're going with the porno stash. So I'm glad it's a great record. I can't wait. I'm glad about it.
From Salt Lake, right? And where's the goth from? And the heavy metal and just power metal and just that scene and all that stuff coming out of there. Like, again, that's a city be paying more attention to.
I have not been hearing much about that. Rick, you got the thumb on the pulse of what's going on. So good. I've put a challenge to myself this year. I cannot, trying not to listen to any new bands. You
are dumb. I love you, but you're dumb.
That's a band I think Kellen will be all over. That's a very Kellen band.
It's like comic collecting. I when I was comic collecting, I would have a box of subscriptions every week, and if you miss something, it fucks everything up. And it's just like if you jump off at some point, you're going to be playing catch up forever. You're always going to be playing catch up, and even trying to stay on top of shit like Rick does. Rick, I bow to your powers. You really invest
more reissues than anything lately. It's just I feel like I'm behind.
That's what I'm doing.
All the good stuff's coming out now. I'm like, damn it! It's like got to put everything else aside, you know. So, but the end of year list is going to be kind of strange because I'm just picking up reissues.
Okay, we're getting some feedback here on the mustaches. Let's see here.
Damn it, Simon.
We got to vote for Fu Manchu. I bet those dudes smell like Sex Panther. Probably so. Female fronted but stash backed, exactly.
All right, Tom.
Exactly. Rick could sport any stash and style. He's such a good looking man. Absolutely.
Talk about this Rick or the one next to me. That one looks like Count Dracula.
Brian says Rick is a Fu Manchu dude all day. If he starts growing it now, it may be filled in by the time he hits 50. I don't know. I'm thinking a Fu Manchu would work well.
That's what I want to see.
Yep. I'm going. Oh, wait. We got to vote for Porn Stash.
Oh, Frederick.
There's even debate. That's why they need Fu Man Rick. Anyway, who's next? Rick. Speaking of the man of the hour, there he is.
I'm gonna show what I think it's a sleeper of 2022. So, and I mean, some people in the channels have talked about this, but I didn't see them in the end of year lists. This is that last Viogression album. Really enjoyed this.
I only have Expound and Exhort. Is that their only other album?
No, they had one more after that, which was actually terrible. And I think that's why they took that long hiatus. And what's
vote for Mutton Chops, by the way.
It's only one original member. Brian Denific. I don't know how you say his name. He's the only original member left. So I think it might have been back in 2015. I think got all new members, but which is surprising, you know, that they were able to pull something this good, you know. And their artwork looks a little messy, but
it's kind of a cool. I like the art. I think it's cool.
It's that Polish guy, the guy who does all the ghost stuff. They managed to get that guy to do this cover.
You can do anything with money. if you have enough money, you can do it. You throw money at it, it makes whatever happen. It's
But
great.
this little death metal band out of Milwaukee that not a lot of people know about. I was surprised they'd have the budget to reach out, but it's cool nevertheless. This right here, it kind of reminds me of like if Obituary was a little more highbrow, a little more progressive. Can you just try to imagine that? These guys it has more depth.
There's so many people that don't even know what that means. They're like, what?
You'd have to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
it's good stuff. And again, I feel like it was a bit of every time I put this on, I keep forgetting, man, this is really good. And it just fell by the wayside last year. Not many people talked about it. But yeah, good band. I don't know if they're going to, because they've had a bit of a rocky, shaky history. So I don't know what they got going on. If they're going to do another release after this, nothing's announced. But this was a good release.
I heard they're reaching out looking for tours in the Midwest, and they were looking for shows here in Iowa. And I was like, get that. Might happen. I don't know.
I think Satanath Records, I think, was involved with this. And but again, I don't see like a gigantic name. They're not on $20 spin or anything like that. So, to help push them, get that support. So
it's cool to see like legacy bands getting back and kind of trying it again. But that's one that I've heard people be like, it's actually pretty amazing.
Here's an interesting. Jack says, I tried to price a quote out of him a few years ago, and he wanted like $3,000 for a black and white.
Wow. If that was $3,000, imagine what this would have cost. Full color and everything.
We got 3 votes for Fu Manchu and 2 for mutton chops, which weren't on the bill, but I like it. I like what you guys are where you guys are going with this.
Winning. Not my first choice, but
Dwayne Timlin is playing on the new one.
Oh really? Wow, from Juice Iscariot and what the fuck is the name of that band? Forward the Spears was an album.
Forest of Impaled.
Why can't I remember the name of the album but not the band? So stupid. How dumb is that?
It's a weird band name.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Smasher, I'm gonna go use a little boys' room while you go on about your new your listening habits. I'll be right back.
Say hi to the little boys. I want to say I might be confusing this with another release. I think the band Viogression is getting copies of like a South American reissue of Expound and Extort. Yeah, that's all there is to.
It sounds quite different from that album. Expound and Extort is quite more brutal in a lot of ways, and more thrashy than this release. Definitely, I do have a repressing of that one, which it's good. It's not the best cover art at all, but don't judge a book by its cover.
It's a lovable, mid '90s death metal cover, early '90s death metal cover. It's got its charm for its high school shittiness to it. All right, maybe this is the last time I show this thing to you people, but Rick, have you listened to Ethel Dwath yet?
I have, and I don't even know if Weird is the name for it. That's the one Karen Crisis, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I had one of their CDs. I think I actually VCLT'd it for somebody who might have appreciated that a little more. Although I did, but it's not something I'm always in the mood to put in. It's just a little avant-garde and strange and experimental.
It's very avant-garde, very fucking weird. I think I wouldn't expect you to like it, but I feel like you're really good at checking out a lot of things.
I don't hate it. It's just I'm not always in the mood for something like that. I might put it on maybe once or twice a year on a whim.
Well, so if there's any weirdos in the chat, this is one of those things I put on pretty regularly without even thinking of it. I kind of want to listen to this kind of a lot. I was hoping Marty would hear some of this, but he's a really fast peer. Have you noticed that yet? Marty's a really fast peer. He doesn't wash his hands. But see,
not really. I'm a slow peer. Beer peas, they're like, shit, I just spilled my fucking shit. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll make up 10. So these guys started out with Code 666 label.
Oh, is that label even still a thing anymore?
Nah.
It can't be.
But I'm kind of fascinated by like the evolution of this band from 2000 to this one, which came out in 2013, so 10 years ago. I do feel like they kind of ran the gamut of the idea, or like all of their ideas, or I don't know. The guy's kind of an eccentric, maybe doesn't have his shit together kind of deal. But they kind of started out, I think, as like kind of a digital drum machine kind of emperor kind of thing, but got really, really weird, really, really quick. And this is the final album, Hemmed by Light, Shaped by Darkness. And he, I think, was in a relationship with Karen Crisis, and she wound up singing on this. And it's probably the most challenging vocals I think I've heard. And for me, that is really the whole personality of the album. But also the riffing is really, really strange. And to give some extra context, the EP that came out as a precursor to this, this is a 3-song EP called On Death and Cosmos. Steve DiGiorgio played on that.
Ooh.
It's very proggy, very serpentine and weird. It's just kind of weird. It's weird to follow. It feels like the riff ends, but the drums continue, and a new riff starts, and then the drums end in the middle of the next riff. It's like incongruous and non-linear and very weird and proggy, but somehow not alienating.
Is that the latest?
It is, but it's 10 years old, and they broke up.
The Karen Crisis on vocal. I've been like cleaning up a White Claw I just spilled all over my keyboard and shit.
Yeah.
Is Karen Crisis on vocals on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what else she has done. I think she sang on that EP too.
She was in a band before that called Crisis, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong.
I remember seeing her in Metal Maniacs
Yeah.
quite a bit, and I thought, cross punk? I don't know, whatever. So I was surprised to see her kind of come back or whatever. What is it like metalcore or something?
She does something called Gospel of the Witches, which is a little doomier.
Yeah, that was kind of like a spin-off of this, and I do like that, not near as much as this one. But Marco Miniman plays drums on it too, so it's pretty technical, but I don't know, it's just not. It's really hard to really peel your attention away from. I mean, that's maybe an unnuanced version of it. Yeah, Code 66 had some kind of cool stuff back then. I thought that label was going to really take off like Seasons of Mist did, but they really didn't. But yeah, not for everybody, but cool artwork, really, really different kind of thing. I've never heard anything like it. I listen to this kind of regularly. It's super cool. And the EP before it, it's quite a bit different even from this album was. But to hear Steve DiGiorgio playing on it is also really cool. This is a really cool band.
They have a way of bringing in guests, because I know with Gospel of the Witches, they've managed to bring in Ross Dolan for one of the guests. I think Vegna too. I think Vegna played something. I forget what track that was, but I mean they have these connections.
David Tiso, who was like the main dude in this band, split off, and he did this new thing called Red Rot, which is not good whatsoever. But he's also doing something called Howling Sycamore, which has Hannes Grossman on drums and Jason Master on vocals, who sang for Spastic Inc. and Watchtower. And that Howling Sycamore stuff is really, really cool too. Like way more like power metal-y kind of US prog thrash kind of thing.
I've heard some Epplewdith before that record, and I'm really kind of surprised you like it so much. It doesn't really strike me as your wheelhouse. It's cool.
Maybe the stuff that you've heard is way different from this one, I would guess.
Yeah.
Like from album to album, they changed drastically.
I heard pre-Karen Crisis, so
yeah.
She wasn't always on there. They ended up marrying.
The first album was Formula, and then there was a remix album, and I don't fuck with remix albums at all. But then there was the Painter's Palette, which was okay. And then I want to say there was another remix album. Then there's kind of like a Dillinger Escape Plan-y kind of album, which is okay. But then when they really started to get weird with Through the Dog's Eyes in 2009. Well,
Oh, apparently those Hades reissues are out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're on Nuclear War now.
Fuck. Are they still available?
I sent them to you the other day.
What? All right, I got to do that. I
They
got to.
just dropped today, so they should be.
Oh, they dropped today? Okay, cool. We should be
As far
good.
as I know, yeah.
All right. I guess I'm up next. I've got a mess here. I'm going to clean that up after I show this. Is that the Nuclear War Now?
No, it's the OG FMP.
Is yours all fucked up too?
Yeah, they're all fucked up.
Oh my god, dude, it's so terrible. How that was okay to go out is ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, because like a mastering problem or a production problem, I don't know, but it's terrible. I'm going to keep it because it's an OG press, but it's still stupid. Rick mentioned Ground Zero Salem distribution earlier. I'm going to mention it now as well because I placed an order recently with Mr. Wilding, who we love greatly here. He's a friend. He's a great dude.
You should have him on.
Well, yeah, he's works Fridays typically, or we have people booked when he's available. I bought a couple things from him. But I will show this one first because this is a classic. I'm glad to finally have it on wax. The Accused, more fun than an open casket funeral. This is the band's second album. Absolutely killer album. Crossover, as far as crossover goes, this band was the end boss for me. This was the end boss of crossover.
Yeah.
Blaine's
Probably
vocals are so fucking sick. This isn't my favorite album from them. I love the one that came after this. Martha Splatterhead's Maddest Stories Ever Told is my favorite. The comeback album, Oh Martha, God, that album crushes, absolutely crushes. But they have not really, I would say they haven't put out a bad album until Blaine left. And then he put out an album. Tommy put out an album with the bass player from Burning Witch on vocals. Not good. Not a good album. I can't remember the name of that one. It's crap. But more fun than Open Casket Funeral is classic Accused. You've got Devil Woman cover on here. Say what you want. I know there's been a lot of litigation and problems. Tommy is kind of a whatever, but he was a great riff writer. He wrote some killer crunchy riffs, super fast, tight palm muting crunches. He's a great guitar player, great songwriter. And with Blaine's retching over the top of it, this shit was great. The first 4 or 5 albums are great. Absolutely great. This is a reissue on Unrest Records. Didn't realize they were reissued, but yep, they did a pretty good job on it. It's got a gatefold, pretty cool collage, lyrics, all the good stuff. I think this is just a black vinyl. There's a poster in here too of the cover, which is pretty cool. Well, maybe it's a different one. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm probably not going to hang it up anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. But great album. Thank you, Pat. Go check out Ground Zero Salem distribution.
I recall him talking about them quite a bit. You know, and that's kind of what I'm renewing my interest in the Accused. They did that thing that Entomb did. They later became AD, and some of the members.
Yeah, and it's still pretty good stuff. I have not bought their record, the AD record, but I have a couple toe tag releases. Thanks to Eric Bauer for snagging those for me. That was pre-Accused AD, but I love Blaine. He was in a band, Denial Fiend. Blaine was in a death metal band called Denial Fiend with I think Terry Butler from Death on bass and some other dudes. It's great. Blaine's vocals rule, absolutely rule. If you're not an Accused fan, you need to check out some of the Accused. Check out Oh Martha. Check out Martha Splatterhead's Maddest Stories Ever Told. Sick vocals. Great, absolutely great. I love the Accused. Near and dear to my heart. I mean, I like Cryptic Slaughter, which I'm going to show some of that here a little bit later. Maybe I'll do that.
In your case, it will make sense because you mentioned Cryptic Slaughter quite a lot. Like that seems like such in your wheelhouse.
Yep, it's totally love it. And all these bands, other than Dealing With It, I love Dealing With It. Everything after, I like Four of a Kind, but DRI, they're kind of got the ball rolling for crossover.
Yeah.
That band, the album crossover that everybody seems to love. I always hated that record. It's so boring. The vocals follow the riffs verbatim. It's so boring. And then there was other albums after that. I did like Four of a Kind, but there were other ones past that were just so boring, man. But Dealing with It crushes. Great, perfect crossover record. And the first one too is really, really good. But Cryptic Slaughter and The Accused, they moved the ball forward for me. Absolutely. And The Accused are my favorite crossover band, hands down. If you're not a fan, you definitely need to check them out.
Maybe the most metal crossover, that kind of thing.
I would agree. It's very metal. Very metal. Yep.
I didn't know about The Accused until I went to see The Locust live, and I played.
I've seen twice, and they're great. They were a great band.
Yeah,
I like the Moog. It was cool.
I played some of them for Ron, and he was like, "This sounds exactly like Blaine from The Accused." And I was like, "Well, play it for me." I agree. Sounds quite a bit.
Do you own any of The Accused, Ben?
I don't think I do.
It's just fun. I love the third album. It's a good road trip record. It's just fun, man. It's just
yeah. It is.
I've said it on here before. I've spent so much time listening to depressive, downtrodden, brutal, feel like shit music, which dark music, which is fine. There's a place and time and place for that, but life turns, and when life starts to imitate art, it's good to change it up a bit. And I've been fun stuff, or shit where you're putting it on when you want to air guitar, you're having fun, or you want to.
That's how we end up with Twilight Force.
Yeah, exactly. Shit like Twilight Force is so refreshing because people roll their eyes. I talk about that in Halloween. The shit makes me feel good, and music has the power to make you feel like shit. It has the power to make you feel good. I just really am in a zone right now where I'm trying my damnedest to medicate the best way. I can't smoke pot. I don't like it. I do drink. I drink on streams. People think I'm probably a big drunk. I mean, I just did 2 shows where I didn't drink at all, not a drop, because I'm driving. I have responsibilities to get people home safe to their families and my son. Yeah. I drink on streams. That's it. I don't recreational drink alone. If people come over, I'll have a couple beers, but
I'm the same way too. I've always been more of a social drinker.
Yeah.
But
the Scorpions, Wade, cheers to you. I mean, things that make you feel happy, it's not a bad thing to feel good. And I don't care how fucking cheesy the music is. If it makes you have fun while you're listening to it and laugh and smile and have fun, that's where I'm at right now. Granted, I'm in a brutal death metal band. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing it. I love it. I love that style of music, but it hasn't been populating my listening hours. I'm trying to medicate difficult situations with positivity in music, but yeah, music can make you feel dreamy too. Absolutely right. Seagull Rock. Anyway, cheers to all you folks. Thanks for listening to me rant there. I don't know why I got on that. Anyway, Rick, you're on.
God damn it, Marty. More positivity. Cheers.
Stupid. I gotta go. I gotta get a towel.
Give you a good bit of context to why we show what we show. Because we show like what's spinning, but sometimes when we choose what's spinning, is because we are in certain moods and why we choose what we choose. Again, just gives context to the situation.
And Chris, the White Claw thing, the only reason I'm on the White Claw thing is because I've been on the road all week. The road, she's a cruel mistress. She's been calling me back. I tried to say no, but I had to go back down for another show, to make the people happy. But anyway, the White Claw thing is because of keto. And do I like it? No. It feels like I'm drinking cleaning products, but you drink 5 of them, it's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
The other night, it was like 2-3 weeks ago, we did a show with Dwayne. I drank a bunch. Then Jeff had a stream. I jumped on with Jeff. I went to bed at 10 after 6 in the morning. I drank 11 White Claws. I was fucking shit hammered. Absolutely shit hammered.
I've done those White Claw streams. We were hanging out for like 8 hours. It's stupid.
It was so stupid. I fucked my whole next day was shit. I mean, people laugh at light White Claw. They're 5 or 6. They're 6%, 5%.
Their commercials are stupid. I'll say
they fuck you up. They do the job, and they don't make you a big fat sloppy pig like I always am. But
They're my go-to now. I had two last night. I like the lightness of it, the crispness of it. It's refreshing. It doesn't feel like a bunch of flavors and calories. It's just
Yep. The black cherry doesn't give me heartburn. The lemon pledge flavor gives me heartburn every time. Anyway, Rick, you're up. I'm going to find us something to wipe up this mess. I'll be right back.
All right. Anyway, so this is a band that kind of harkens back a very stripped back sound. You know bands like Xanatol, black metal.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of Celtic Frost.
Yeah.
And just that kind of lo-fi, really fuzzy bass. So the dude, if you know that band Nile Invocation, so he's got another project called Vengeance Sorcery. And I don't know if this is a name that people are familiar with floating around. If you listen to like Meaning and Zespeth, it kind of has those vibes. So it's a project kind of very similar to that. So this is a Oath to Torment Unrelenting. So basically, this is a compilation of all the demo stuff.
Damn. 22 tracks.
Yeah. So it's all like they're not super long, and they're just like kind of, again, it's all from the demo material.
Yeah.
They just dropped a full length too, which I still have yet to check out. But I've seen their demos and tapes floating around, and I've been getting around to wanting to get around to check it out. And I noticed they had this. So here's the thing. So if you look them up, I don't know, like on Bandcamp, you're going to get the official name, Vengeance Sorcery, and all their stuff. But you have to go through something called Fallen Temple. This is where you're going to find this CD. This is the best value right here. I paid like $6 for this.
Damn.
It's got all their stuff. So this is really good value. So this is probably the best way to get all their material, demo material, right here. If you're interested in checking them out, like I said, it cost me like $6 for 22 tracks, all their demo material. If you like it, you might like their full length, but I can't say anything because I haven't checked it out yet. But I do like what's here. This is when you're one of those moods when you want something a little more, just kind of a heavy, stripped back, dark, kind of, have elements of that kind of first wave, but still kind of stuck in the 90s. Black metal. It's kind of very, very weird to describe, but really good stuff.
Super primitive, like Bonal.
Maybe not quite Bonal. That's a little more. Like I said, that's why I mentioned Meaning of Zespeth. So it kind of has those kind of elements.
Fallen or Pile of Heads. Big Cartel has it for $9.
$9. I would go through Bandcamp. It's a little cheaper there.
Yeah.
But you have to go through Fallen Temple.
Sounds really up my alley. I'm really into like the super primitive, early kind of black metal stuff that isn't Hellhammer or Celtic Frost.
You would like this. It kind of has those vibes. Again, he's got Island Vacation. This is more straightforward, raw black metal stuff. This is kind of moves more in this other direction. Vengeance Sorcery.
I hadn't even heard of Nihil Invocation either. Nuclear War Now. I missed this apparently.
Well, here's the dude right here. Like Nihil Vacation. Good stuff. I like his material too. There, if you want more of the. Again, I don't know how much in the mood you're for the raw black metal stuff lately.
I'm pretty picky, but I'm usually interested in checking a lot of it out.
I like it. I like it when I'm in the mood for it. It hits the spot.
That Xanatol was too minimalistic for me, I think. But I was like, I want to hear more like this. Maybe a little more.
It's more like that, but maybe not as primitive.
Yeah,
it's just a little more substance to it, but it's moving in that direction.
Rick once again picks out some shit I've never heard of. Cheers to that.
Good stuff. I've seen their tapes floating around. It's all the compilation. I'm like, well, that's a no-brainer. I'll just get this.
Yeah.
I love demo comps. That's tons of material. $6.
And Jeff, I could go walk in the other room right now and pull a Pet Shop Boys single off the top of a record player that's sitting there that I listened to the other day. So I'm not opposed to that either. It's fun stuff. Anyway, Ben, you're up.
I'm up. I got this from a really good looking dude the other day. So I hope you guys were kind of following us down the Kecht Iraq wormhole.
I've been listening to it. I haven't put. I've got like copies of them. I haven't put them on the distro on the website yet.
I figured this would be one of those things that sells out in 5 minutes, but it
I
seems
know.
like it's kind of sitting around in some distros. I know you got copies of it.
I haven't put it up yet. It'll probably sell.
Dude, it's really good. So
I printed the shirts for this too. So if you buy a shirt from this from out of season, I printed them in my garage.
Yeah, dude knows how to write a song. But this isn't a solo project from Kick Direct. It's 2 other members, I want to say. But it's very, very
there's 3. It's a 3-piece.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, now he's got a Burzum tribute band and he's got a Dark Throne tribute band. This Felvum is the Dark Throne tribute band.
Yeah,
it's good. It's really well done.
I'm all about hearing stuff that sounds like Burzum that isn't Burzum. But what's it called? Is it self-titled? No, Full Moon Mysticism.
Yep.
That's about the most typical. It's a very typical thing. There's nothing original about it, really. But when Dark Throne worship is done good, I'm fucking there for it every time. So well written, primitive, under a funeral moon kind of shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the keywords are Burzum. That's not Burzum. That's usually what I'm looking for.
Out of season, put it out.
Did they? No. The out of season did. Why did I think season of mist? Like, no, you're wrong. It's season of mist. I don't know. Anyway, I'm dumb. Anyway, dumb. All right. Next up for me, another Pat from Ground Zero Salem acquisition. This is Rudimentary Peni, the Death Church. Old,
weirdest band name ever.
Old UK punk. This cover is crazy. I gotta pull this out real quick. The cover folds out into a ginormous poster. They thank, if you wonder what this sounds like, they thank Crass in the so it's kind of like Crass, but not as crassy, if that makes sense. It's like the lyrics fold out. This is so crazy.
Oh yeah, those fallouts are annoying.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's
Wow.
crazy. Super detailed, really killer artwork. It's just a snotty UK punk with social, political, personal type lyrics. It's very good. It's always, I had friends that had this record. I always wanted it. There's other albums by them I always wanted. Pat had it at a really good price at Ground Zero Salem distribution. So I snagged a copy finally. I've listened to it about 4 times. I enjoy it. When I'm in the mood for this shit, it's good to have it. Oh, here we go. Here you go, Tom. This might be I don't know what label. Don't make me look for the label right now because it's not. Wait, maybe it'll be on the. Nope. I have no idea who put this out, and I'm not going to look for it, but it's good shit. Check out Rudimentary Peni. They put out multiple albums. This is the only one I have. It's very good. Death Church. Good stuff. All right. Rick, you're back.
You know what? I'm gonna just use you as a jumping point because you're showing something there pretty detailed and just crazy. And so, and funny enough, I bought this from Pat's store too.
We love Pat. Pat, we love you.
So that, and you know, and his prices are hard to say no to. I look at this stuff
exactly.
like, you know, I'm gonna just pull the trigger. Got a nice pea yellow of Sonic Poison.
See, I would have bought that. Is that Crust?
Yeah, it's.
I bought a couple of Crust records from them. I haven't spun them yet, so I didn't want to pull them out and talk out my ass. Although Crust sounds like Crust.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's going on here.
That's killer.
It's insane stuff. So it's Finnish.
Yeah.
You kind of have an idea what Finnish Crust sounds like. It's got that death metal side to it, you know, and so it's crusty, grindy. If you like ugly music, this is something you would definitely like. It's a pretty ugly cover. That one made me pull the trigger. So it's a newer release. I mean, it came out in January, so it's 2023. Nitaka Roho, I guess, put this out, and usually can't go wrong with the stuff that they put out. So I saw that in there. I'm like, looks like something I'm gonna enjoy. So it was a blind buy. Pulled the trigger. Came from Pat's store. So you know what, and it's good stuff.
If he has more copies, I may have to go check that out.
Yeah, and I'm usually pretty good at checking right before the streams if the stuff I pull if it's available, but I didn't for this one. But I think last time I did check, which was maybe a little over a week ago, they still had copies, but I don't know about right now. But yeah, if you like Finnish crust with some grindcore and some death metal, very riffy, very ugly vocals. This will be up your alley. But yeah. So again, I need to spend more time with it, but but I've been enjoying it.
Sweet. Ben, you want me to skip you or are you good?
Oh, I can't really decide. I've got a stack of stuff that I've listened to a little bit, but not a ton. I just got this in tonight, but I love funerals, tragedies. This is
the worst cover ever.
It really is. I've even got it on a shirt.
It's so stupid.
I have to grin every time I see that.
It's so stupid. So 90s pre-Photoshop.
It lends credence to the idea that if something has a really bad album cover, you probably better at least give it a little listen.
Yeah.
Man, it's one of the most morose, sorrowful, just downtrodden, miserable funeral doom albums there ever was. The Crypt did a reissue of it a couple years ago. Hard to find, but Seasons of Mist finally put this back into print, and I'm fucking stoked on it. One of my best friends that I've made out of YouTube was Dave. I think you know Dave, Marty from Minneapolis. He was like, "Hey, I noticed you had this in your wish list, and I'll send you an LP of it for $40." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll pass. I want to get it on CD. I'd prefer it to the LP." And he's like, "I tell you what, I'll just send it to you anyways." And so ever since then, we've been like sending presents back and forth. So it's like a VC LP, but he's not in the VC.
Yeah.
And we just like send presents back and forth. And now I just go up to Minneapolis where he lives, and we go to the record store, and we just like, "Here, I got you this. Oh, here, I got you this. Okay, we'll see you later." It's so bonkers. This thing, haven't really heard much of their other material other than their last album, which was a piece of shit. But I think most people who know their funeral doom know this is fucking 9.5 out of 10. And the weirdest thing is that this guy played in Odium. The drummer played in Odium.
The Norwegian black metal band?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember buying that at the record store, like the reissue of it, and and at the checkout counter, and it was a vinyl author actually. He's like looking at that, he's like, "This cover is fucking ghastly," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm giving you money to buy this. You should keep trying to sell me on this." I mean, I already knew I wanted it, but just thought it was funny.
I don't feel like it's like notoriously god awful. I think there's a lot of shit that is just as bad as this, but yeah, it's remarkably garbage.
All right. We're still on the crossover kick. I just got this finally on vinyl. This is a Relapse reissue.
Oh yeah.
I always had I've never had anything other than the cassette of this. I bought it cassette when it came out. I love this band until they let me down on their fourth album. The fourth album, what the fuck was it called? Speak Your Peace. Different singer, different style, wasn't crossover anymore. I kind of wish I could buy the album again and listen to it, because when it came out, I hated it. But this is great. Crossover. Super fast. Actually, my favorite by this band is their third one, Stream of Consciousness. It sounded like it was recorded in a garage, which I love that. It sounds so raw and feral. They're kind of the beats are kind of starting to border on a blast beat a little bit. Good catchy riffs. This here, it's great. It's great. classic debut, super fun cover. I don't know, man. It was cool. I when I bought this, I was not paying close attention. I was hoping it was an original copy, but it was a relapse repress. And it looks like the person that had this record before me used to clean it with 80 grit sandpaper. But it plays fine. It's got a lot of surface scratches on it. Lucky for the guy, I don't leave any eBay comments. I just never think about it. But good record. I'm glad I have it finally on vinyl. I've got the first 3 on vinyl. I'm psyched. I might tread with caution on the 4th one, but
That's the one with the cheesy piece thing with the earth
with
over
the
it.
bomb,
Yeah.
like the peace sign with the bomb and or whatever.
I actually have that tape.
Yeah, it's it.
Right.
I remember a buddy of mine bought it. We were so excited about it, and he put it in the tape deck. I'm like, what the fuck is this garbage? It's not the same, not the same band. But
Money Talks is pretty good too. That's
Money Talks is great.
Was it Reagan on the cover?
Yep.
That's a funny one.
Yep.
You're having quite of a thrash crossover kind of moment lately. Are you more into it now than ever, maybe, Marty?
Me?
Yeah.
I've always been into it, but I've circled back around where whenever I go on eBay, funny thing is eBay is probably my most used distro.
Yeah.
That and Discogs is second, but I'll lay in bed at night at 3 in the morning when I go to bed, 3:30, and I'll pull up eBay. I'll type in thrash metal records, thrash metal LPs, and just start scrolling. Newest, I'll always pick the newest and just start going. And that popped up. It was under $20. I'm like, fuck yeah, all day long. So, shopping like that puts me in the mood for it. So
that's playing with fire. It's dangerous for me. I do that. You can't have just one. It's like I look at my cart, and I'm like, but I'm looking at new stuff. I should be looking at my cart. I need to purge some things, but I'm looking at new stuff.
Yeah, my problem is there'll be a long gap where I don't buy shit, which is fine because like Zoller sends me a bunch of stuff and I'm satiated for a while, but then I'll start I'm not buying anything for a long time, and then I'll start, and then all of a sudden I fall off the wagon, and there's 2-week period where I get like 15 records in the mail, and I'm so dumb. What the fuck is wrong with me? Whatever.
Yeah, all the stuff I've got surrounded by is like in the last 2 weeks. We've got a problem. We're encouraging people to have the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Trying to stimulate the economy. Max out those credit cards.
Ruin my life for the economy.
I would have done it anyway, whether I'm on YouTube or not. And the fact that people want to watch and maybe get a little guidance out of it, cool. But obviously you have to process the fact that it's coming through my taste. Our tastes are all different, and you have to decide if you like our taste or not, and when you go out and buy stuff. But that's the rub for sure. Rick, you're up.
All right. Another curveball. So this is something I just got. I actually been waiting like 3 months for it. Actually, I'm not going to say the name of the distro I bought it from, but they forgot to ship it. So this was something I found out through Tyler, Alaskan Bergwander. He showed this on one of his top albums. It's actually hardcore Temple Guard. You wouldn't get that vibe from this, but it's more in the vein of I would say probably Later Integrity. It's quite dark, fast. But although I kind of put it with that Later Integrity, but it still has that 90s sound. So if you like that old 90s throwback, really heavy, just hard hitting, hardcore, Temple Guard. So they're from the UK. So this was made up of members. I know some people hate white vinyl, but that's the color that was there. Even Dwid actually makes an appearance on this does some, I forget which track it is. But I'm not been buying much hardcore lately. It's not something that, but someone like Tyler brought it up. He's mainly like a black metal guy, and he was giving this high praise. So I was very surprised. So I checked it out, and he wasn't wrong. It's good. It's good stuff.
That guy knows his shit.
He does.
So
I don't understand how he's so connected to that stuff.
Spear of the Revenant, which I think is made up of members called from Repentance. Were members from that band. They kind of regrouped and formed this Temple Guard. But yeah, really good production. Just some of the best stuff I've heard. Probably in the past 5 years when it comes to some of this hardcore. Really good stuff.
Sweet. Have not heard of. All right, Ben.
You know, I'm having a hard time picking. I'm getting down to the dregs.
I got about 3 left.
Well, I don't know. I listen to this a lot. I sang a little bit on this album, and I did my part live. And I don't know. I don't listen to Panopticon very often, but when I get in the mood, I really go in. And sometimes I remember that he's my friend, but I forget that he's such a talented musician.
I love the closing song, Chase the Grain. That's so fucking great.
There's just so much thought put into his music, and not to mention just talent and songwriting. He's so familiar with his style, and I feel like he just has the formula down. Like he can just crank out the albums.
Well, it is him. The difference is it's not realizing a style. It is him.
Yeah.
It's him channeled through Death. I mean, he's a big Death fan.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you can like the solos and the way he processes some things. You can tell it's a big influence. You know.
Or he said he also like uses King's X as like the template for how to write a
King's X fan. Yeah.
That too,
I don't know if anybody could like wrap their mind around that. Like what? But he played me some of his favorite King's X songs one time on the way back from Kentucky, and I was like, wow, that's weird. I don't know. I gotta understand that on my own. But is this everyone's favorite Panopticon? Probably.
That's the first one I put out.
I would say, yeah, it was for a while. I really like that new one though too.
The new one, the new one might be his best so far.
Yeah.
Until the next one comes out, which is really good as well.
Yeah. What's going on with the new one? What's the style like?
It's a lot like the last one, but he had fun writing it. He was actually in a happy place and had fun. So I think he's worried that it's coming from a place of joy as opposed to a place of turmoil and sorrow. But it sounds like Panopticon. It's really good. It's very cinematic. There's a lot of choirs on it. Charlie really steps up. There's a ton of strings on it. It's amazing. It's an amazing record. People are gonna crap their pants over it. It's gonna be great.
He's so consistent. He blows me away every time.
Yep.
And can we talk about Weft at all or no?
What?
Weft?
What's that?
Weft?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know? Okay. Well, I'll have to keep you in on that. Never mind. Yeah. I'm just revisiting Panopticon, and it's maybe been the biggest gap since I last did that. And just seeing them live, like, God damn, I cannot stress to you enough how amazing it is to see them live. Just do it. Even I bought Ed's ticket to come down and see them live. I don't know if he's that big of a fan, but he was blown away. And I just said to him, like, I don't know if you knew that they were this good live. And he's like, fuck yeah, man. I had no idea. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
It's unfathomable how insanely talented and relentless Ray is, and everybody else just playing along with Ray. It's fucking orgasmic.
Yep, they're great. They're great live. Second time I've seen them live past weekend, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Like I said, it's weird watching Panopticon live for me because, again, Panopticon for me is a very cerebral thing. It just is.
Yeah.
And seeing it live, it's a very personal musical experience, and seeing it live and with like 600 other people, it feels wrong and off and not the way it should be. but it works so well. They're so talented, and of course, I know all the people in the band. They're all sweet, amazing humans that I love to death, and it changes it a little bit. You know, obviously Austin is the only one on the albums other than the people he invites in to guest on it and stuff, but
He needs to come back to Philly. I'm just saying.
yeah.
Is this Euro tour the only thing left for the year, or is there more?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I have a hard enough time figuring out what I'm even eating every day for food and remembering it, let alone knowing what his agenda is. But I talk to Austin every day. So
Yeah.
he I know he's gearing up for this Euro tour. It's a 2-week run. Starts in England, ends up in Europe. So if you're in Europe, there's Panopticon doesn't come around. Afski they're playing with, and is there another band?
Is it Grift?
Grift was the last tour. I don't think Grift is on this one. Hold on, I have a poster up here. It's Afski and Panopticon. That's the only two apparently. 2, 3, 4, 5. They're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates in UK. They're playing Scarborough. They're playing Glasgow. They're playing Newcastle. They're playing London. They're playing Birmingham. Then they go to yeah.
Cool.
Oh shit! I didn't even get one of those. Oh well.
I tore it off the knock bar wall.
Right. They got France. They're playing. I don't know Lille. They're playing Namur in Belgium and Winterthur in CH. Where the hell that is?
Jesus. All that in 2 weeks.
Czechoslovakia? I was wondering that myself.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, we're not just saying that because it's a binder and band. Like, we are thoroughly enthralled by him as a person and their music.
Oh, he's a great dude. He's super nice. He loves his friends, and he'll bend over backwards. He'll give his shirt off his back for you, and it's crazy.
Well, there's that, and the contribution makes in other albums too, in his other bands, which is pretty insane. He'd be able to find a time for all that.
Yeah, I mean, The Glorious Dead did not fit that show we just played down there, but he wanted to see his friends, so
yeah,
he brought us down. He knew that Louisville was a death metal town, and he figured people would dig it, and he was right. People dug us, which was weird, and it was welcomed. It was welcomed. So hope it to happen again. He said he wants to do more shows with us. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Anyway, did you just go, Ben? You did.
Yeah,
It's my turn. I've only listened to this record once, and I'm way behind in this band's quick rise to popularity, and that would be Lamp of Murmur, The Burning Spheres of Crimson Agony. This is okay. It's okay. The first album I bought of theirs is the one with the Sisters of Mercy tribute cover.
Okay.
I thought it was painfully average. I like Sisters of Mercy. That did not sound like Sisters of Mercy to me, other than the cover tribute. But the Immortal album, the one that just came out, that fucking rips, dude. It's so good. I've been meaning to get a copy of the record. I have not done it. I probably slept on it. I probably missed it. I picked this up somewhere. What is this on? blackgangrene.com. This guy is super young, and I don't know how truly popular this is with such low runs. Yeah, the low runs sell out quick. I don't know. I don't know what to think. This is decent. You can
still get copies from Analog Worship.
What's that?
The new one you can still get from Analog Worship.
Right.
Yeah, there's no copy. That's where I just ordered mine because I couldn't find a copy anywhere else.
Analog Worship. Let me write that down because I'm not gonna fucking remember that.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool. It's cool. I like it. I don't know that it deserves all the hype.
Is that the last one he put out? I think with just him, because he's got like an actual band now. Like he's got.
Yeah.
They toured Europe. They toured Europe a year or so ago. Even the new album, I like it. I think it's really killer, but let's be honest. It's swinging off of Immortals nuts big time. It's not original at all. It's not. They followed the blueprint. I like it. It's a blueprint that I enjoy that they're swinging from, but how much credit should I don't know.
I just think the timing is interesting. You know, when Immortal themselves, well, or should I say Demon Ass drops an album this year. It's kind of around the same period.
Which today I think was the release date today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm even like debating on the name because Demon Ass already has a solo album.
Hey Jake, what's up, man? Cheers, brother. Hope you're well.
What's up, man?
So Jake. Well put.
Best Immortal album of the year.
Yeah, it works as a statement piece. Like, this is what we want to remember Immortal as. Fuck all that other shit.
At the Heart of Winter is a pivotal album for the band. Let's be honest. It's advancing into more technical, hooky riffs as opposed to just the early Norwegian sound, which I love. I love both styles. I love At the Heart of Winter. I know Ben hates it for the sound. Do you like it for the riffs?
It's a good album.
Yeah, it's a good album. I even like All Shall Fall. Everybody kind of like brushed that record off. I thought it was great, man. They Abat recorded vocals in Studio Greek Holland. It has the old school vibe to it. I thought that was a great record. And
I think that was better than Sons of Northern Darkness and Damned in Black.
Absolutely 100%. Sons of Northern Darkness, everybody loves it. I fucking hate that record. Tyrants, bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate that record. Blech.
It's quite stripped down. It's probably the most accessible record thing to put out. It's probably why, I don't know, a lot of people gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
There's a killer riff on Sons of Northern Darkness, which doesn't redeem it at all.
Yeah. I mean, Sons of Northern Darkness has a few good songs on it, but Damned in Black has got a couple catchy songs on it as well. But I haven't listened to that album since it came out. I mean, I'm glad I own it, but am I going to buy it on vinyl? No, I'm all the way through At the Heart of Winter. I'm pretty good to stop. I do have the last album, Northern Chaos Gods, which I really liked.
Yeah.
I really like that record. I think it's a great record. This new record, I mean, I listened to most of it, and there's some good songs on it. Is it great? It isn't great. It sounds like a project. It doesn't sound like, and then people are like, why does he still do it? Well, obviously, Immortal's a brand. I mean, Demon As records are not going to sell as much as Immortal records are going to sell. So I understand why. It's like everybody when Jeff Hanneman died, why is Slayer continuing? That's all they've done since they've been teenagers. Of course they're going to continue. Why is Metallica still continuing? Because they're the biggest band on the fucking planet.
It would let down 1 million people if you stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to buy the new Immortal. I've got all their other records. Why wouldn't I buy this one? Is it amazing? It is not amazing. Is it good? It's good. Is it great? No, it's not great. It's
in Metallica's defense, if I could get away charging $500 for tickets, I'll keep going.
Yeah, right. And the thing that got me about the Immortal thing, the new album, he's trying to sound like a bat singing, which is annoying. He doesn't do that on the last record. He's doing it on this one. He's trying to sound like a bat, which is fucking annoying. Anyway, we got on a tangent. Rick, you're up.
I wish you would just do another Demon As album. That thing was killer.
It was a good record.
Yeah, I just have the tape of that, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, was it March of the Norse or Rise of the Norse? I can't remember.
Came out like 2011, I think, something like that.
I'll listen to that tomorrow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
So I picked this up, bit of a blind buy, and I didn't realize I hadn't. Well, the guy behind this was behind another band that I really enjoyed. So I had to put the name down just so I can remember what the hell, because like that logo is unreadable.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's Simon just talked about that on his Call to Arms.
Yeah, I was like, you bastard! I just picked.
I just edited all that shit. Sorry, I'm drunk.
It's good. It's very 90s. You know, it kind of has that throwback sound.
It's cool. Yeah,
quite atmospheric, and It's impossible to pronounce, so I'm not even going to bother. But it's Belgian, I guess. From Belgium. It's very atmospheric. It's kind of beautiful actually thrown together. A lot of just really good melodies and kind of just very captivating. Takes me away. Just that he was able to produce this kind of stuff. And the guy he's behind this project. If you know Monads.
Gonads.
How did I not see that coming? Funeral Doom, just shows you, to move to something like this. It's kind of insane. That's why I was very surprised to find out it's the same guy. But yeah, really good stuff. If you see it, definitely check it out.
That was killer stuff.
I don't know if it only comes in white, but that's what they had. Got this from I think a Derridac Black Mass. I think had copies of this at the time. But yeah,
that's one of those albums I like listening to in the morning. You get that vibe off of it?
I try to sleep through the morning any chance I can get because fuck mornings.
I mean, just atmospheric black metal. I typically like it early in the day. My attention span is a little more aware, and at nighttime I listen to the more Knuckle Dragon stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really good stuff. One more time if you want to see the spelling. Just that logo, just forget it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right on, Ben.
All right. We've praised a lot of albums all night, but I've been wanting to revisit this for a really long time. In my head, I remember this being a fucking brilliant masterpiece, a Norwegian black metal classic, but it's probably been 10 years since I played this thing. And I don't know if it just doesn't hold up for me, but the first Taka,
dude, you're on crack. That record rules. The first song, oh my god, rules.
It's got a great opening riff to it.
Is it Taka? Is Tolka, isn't it? Tolka?
I don't know. Just didn't. I remember this being better than it was when I put it in the other day.
It's good. You're wrong. It's good.
And I've never listened to any of his other stuff.
He's not put out a bad record. I've liked all of his records.
Huh. Is this his best?
Meh.
I think most people like his second album more than this one.
Yeah. Third one's good too. I mean, there's so many good. The later couple have been good, but not great. That one's an exceptional record. The first song is so good.
Yeah. It's one of the last albums recorded in Greek Holland. I don't know. I have special memories of just being enthralled by this album, and it didn't hit like it used to when I was younger. Not tested. I'll give it another listen and make sure that I'm not smoking crack.
Don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of it. It might circle when your mood hits. It might circle back because I'm hanging on to the belief that he was one of the guys in the Norwegian black metal scene that carried the flame. Man, he carried the torch. Where a lot of bands jumped off and got more experimental, like Dodheim's Guard, or more brutal, like Zyklon. The bands either went more experimental, they went more death metal, tech death metal. Tulka remained Norwegian black metal, and he's a great riff writer. He's an awesome vocalist. I mean, he's been in Gorgoroth. I think he's still the live vocalist for Gorgoroth. He's been in Ragnarok. He's been in a lot of bands. But
kind of along the same lines, I came back to this one.
That's
and didn't like it.
Fun. I like the first one better, but that one's good too.
The guitar tone fucking sucks on this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pissed
God,
off.
that's a band I haven't thought about in a while. Grip Incorporated. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Rough.
I just have the one album that came out with 99, something like that.
Something like that. All right. I am up next. I was talking about Lamp of Murmur, and this was sent to me, I think, by Zoller. It's on Go to Warex. This is a Lamp of Murmur and Ebony Pendant split. Oddly enough, I might have shown this here a while ago on here, but both of these bands sound remarkably similar. In fact, if you didn't tell me there were two bands on here, I would have thought it was all the same band. But
it's good though.
It's well done. It's well done. I have no complaints. I like both sounds. I'm trying. The old me would have bought up everything I could find by Ebony Pendant and everything by Lamp of Murmur, but the new me is like, both these bands sound exactly the same. Do I need to buy everything by both bands? Probably not. But, who knows? That all depends on the day. But right now, yeah, it's good stuff. Exactly, Jake. I like both these bands. They sound exactly the same to me on this split, though. And if you tell me they don't, you're wrong. 100% wrong. But good shit. I like it. Fun split. Rick, I'm going to go pee again. I'll be right back.
All right.
Ricardo.
So this is an album I listened to for years, but I've never owned it in vinyl. So I decided I'm going to go on a mission and just go back and pick up all their stuff on vinyl. That would be Morphus, sitting there in the record store. Last copy. And I go, you know what? This is the first one with Tommy on vocals. So it was kind of like a new era for the band. And this was, I want to say it was 2006, something like that. And I wasn't sure what to think when this came, because I was so used to the other singer. And the band was back to form. They kind of moved, and they were really they stopped being a metal band for like a while. And this is their return back to being a metal band. And hearing the harsh vocals again, that was refreshing.
Wow. That's got a 92 rating on Metal Archives.
I'm back just listening back to this. It's been, God, I probably haven't listened to this maybe in 5 years, 5-6 years, something like that. I just forgot how good this was, man. I really enjoyed this. House of Sleep, I think, was the big single when it came out at the time. Born from Fire. Perkele, Got a Fire. Nice and heavy, brutal song. Love it.
Perkele.
So, The Smoke, another good track. Those are like the lead tracks on this album. But and they will continue on this sort of theme. But yeah, I mean, they and I like the last one as with the Halo that they put out. So I really like. So I'm just gonna go back and pick up the rest of their stuff. But I think this was here we go. Gatefold. Yeah. I've always liked the Morphus. I first saw that. They were one of the first bands I saw live when I moved to Philly. And that was back when they had the other guy. For some reason the name escapes me, but he
Which one did you show?
Oh, Eclipse.
We listened to Tales of the Thousand Lakes on the way back home from Kentucky. It was awesome.
Good album. They're probably their doomiest.
Mm-hmm.
But I was telling Ben, like, this is when I was all sitting there and never had it on vinyl, and I think I'm gonna just go back and get the rest of their stuff.
Sweet.
Give me this nice brown too.
They're a tough band for me. I'm not even really crazy about their first two, and
oh my god, the first one is so good.
Their sound. I mean, you can't really compare them to what they were in the 90s. They've really, they're back to being, but they're a lot more melodic than they used to be too. It's hard to really put them a proper label on them.
I'm looking through their Metal Archives, and like I'm surprised to see how well reviewed their albums with that one and after are. I just assumed they were like putting out a bunch of boring stuff, but people seem to be really into it.
It's very different. Again, this is but when they brought Tommy back in, their sound changed and they went back to that kind of metal sound, but it's very beautiful. A lot of keyboards, and it's quite progressive. And it kind of just evolves from there. But I don't know.
Elegy? What's Elegy like? Is that?
It's very 70s.
Yeah.
The death vocals are there, but very minimal. They had another singer on. It ended up being super catchy, and I liked it. But when I first got it, it was another one of those I laughed and threw in the garbage. Like, this is garbage. What the hell happened to this band? But I'm like, end up liking it.
If you want to go through and through death metal album, Corellian Isthmus probably the.
Oh yeah,
so yeah, I have the first two.
But if you want a more like more melodic, keyboard driven kind of thing, their newer stuff kind of falls more in that direction.
Yeah.
Very different sound.
Yeah.
When I was first getting into like, I think I came back from Milwaukee Metal Fest with a promo for My Teal. And that was very different for me. I had heard brutal and angry stuff, but it was like kind of gorgeous music. And I kind of liked it, but I never really followed through with the stuff after that. Never really hit.
Right.
What is your favorite, huh? I'll have to maybe sample tomorrow. I'm kind of not doing, we've got some free time tomorrow. I feel like fucking
If you like it, I'm going to be utterly shocked. To be completely honest, I'm going to be utterly shocked.
Like,
the album you choose really does matter, or should I say the era again? Because I think they have like 3 different eras.
so I'll probably start with Eclipse since you just showed it in your recommendation.
It's a good
But
one.
like,
I love it.
Tiamat and Amorphous for me, like they come to a point where like everything to me is like I shouldn't touch this.
All right, Ben, you are up.
Oh man, this will be the last one. I'm pulling on the dregs here. I shouldn't end on something negative because this didn't go very well. I feel like we can't talk enough praise about the Chasm.
That record rules.
I
My
know
favorite-
we're all
my
in the
favorite
champion
Chasm
this
record.
band, but we can't fucking champion them enough. I feel like there should be a heavy metallurgy episode all focused on the Chasm. Maybe invite them on, see if maybe they would want to come on. or
Yeah,
something.
I know Daniel. I've hung out with him. He's
Yeah,
super sweet dude, man. I would imagine you'd do it.
I would love to see you like start reaching out outside of our family and out into the band world and stuff.
I've thought about it. We talked about it, but it changes the demographic. You end up kind of going into interview mode where
I love how Jeff's doing it. He has like the dude
Jeff
from
rules.
Esoteric on,
Jeff
like,
does a great fucking job of what he
he
does.
really does.
Absolutely.
And like he'll have Esoteric on, but it's not like let's talk about Esoteric. It's like you're a fan. Let's talk about stuff we're a fan of, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Big praise to Jeff for doing what he's doing. But
Totally.
I feel like that is possible on this channel too.
Sure. Oh yeah. It wouldn't be as extensive as what he does. It would be more of a, half-hour
I love how we
interview,
do like
hour
that.
interview, maybe. But
Album by album rotation thing. I think that's the cadence that we all enjoy.
sure,
But I never expected to find this out in the wild.
that's crazy.
Not that it's super rare or anything, but Dwell stuff, you see their tributes
It
everywhere.
hasn't been reissued either. Like that's
Yeah.
The new one just dropped on vinyl not too long ago. So finally, I picked up the CD last year. Been waiting for the vinyl to drop.
I'm drinking my CPAP water.
Dude, I had Hampton Inn CPAP water the other night, and it was weird. I didn't sleep for shit.
You what?
I had Hampton Inn at Detroit water the other night in my CPAP machine, and it wasn't. It's bad enough you come walking in wearing a breathing machine to keep you alive, carrying a jug of distilled water. Hey, everybody! I'm ready to party.
I think I commented the Glorious Dead tour was the CPAP tour 2023.
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
That's the last one.
that's the last one for you. Okay, how many more do you have, Rick?
2 or 3.
Okay, I'll just I'll do 2 more. I may have shown these. These are a package from Alan. Cheers to you, Alan, if you're watching. He sent me 7 Kingdoms, lady fronted power metal, solid record. While Heaven Wept. What the hell is this? Vast Oceans. Oh my God, Lacrimose. Very Fates Warning geared power metal from the US. Jim Hunter is in this band, who was also in October 31. Obviously, King from Deceased, and is in October 31 as well. Cheers to you, King. This is a really great record. I never heard this band much. Alan sent to me, and I love it. And he also sent me this Wuthering Heights CD. What the hell is it called? Salt. Very poetic power metal. Very literary The dudes in this band are obvious. The singer is obviously very into literature. Very well done. Some of the lyrics are a little overdone, a little overblown, but I really enjoyed this record as well. So yeah, very cool. Couple different points, packages from Alan, but very consistent, very cool stuff. I didn't think I would like this one. You know, you got the
Yeah, I would skip over that every day.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't buy this, but it's fun. It's a fun record. I enjoy it. So I mean, all these are great.
He brought them up a few times during the streams. You know, I think they used to have a male vocalist in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you messed with Twisted Tower Dire much, Marty?
I've seen them live once back in the day, and when Tony was still alive, and I have a couple of their albums. They're fun. They're good.
Okay.
Are they great? They're not great, but they're good. I enjoyed them.
Same guitar player, bass player, I think. I have a couple more. Since you didn't really say much about them, I got a pile of stuff I've got, but I haven't really listened to enough to say a lot about.
I've got one more. You can barrel through on your next one. Go for it. Rick, you're up.
All right. This one's a mistake buy. So
what does that mean?
I was at the record store, and I was, they had crowbar sitting there. I was trying to pull that, and if you look at the way I shop, like I'll go in there, and
I can't imagine. You probably start buying when you walk in the store. You start by the time you get the end, you got a stack like this. Like, oh, this will cover it.
Everything is shiny. I'm going, ooh, shiny.
Fuck money, fuck money.
I picked this up. So that's what happened. I'm trying to pull this crowbar album, and I'm on checkout, and then I get home. I go through my bag. I'm like, where the hell's that crowbar? I'm looking through it, and I look at this. I don't remember buying this. It's fucking Crowpath. red on chrome. So I said, well, it's already here. So somehow this band evaded me. Back in the day, pull up by Willowtip.
Huh.
So I got a few things from them. So I figured, well, that's probably all right. And it's a band from Sweden that kind of play in that. I guess they would be put in that grindcore category, but they got too many interesting things going on and kind of a bit of a progressive edge, almost to a point of the kind of stuff that. So this came out in 2004, and if you remember what the climate was like in 2004, with these kind of like these sort of metalcore bands that were coming out and the mathcore stuff, and then you had and then you had the more progressive bands like Mastodon. So this kind of falls neatly in line between those two tiers. So I happen to like that stuff. And it's actually a pretty interesting time, because I like bands like Caliban. I like bands that kind of fall. The more what I would say, bands that kind of are a bit of a better quality, that kind of do it really well. And I'm surprised these guys were not mentioned more. They're no longer active. They put out a few albums. I think this is the first one I think they put out, and it's got I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at it's got a bit of a like a scissor with a
well, spot UV.
Yeah.
Oh,
very,
yeah.
A very interesting treatment. And I think the CD itself, the CD just has that. But surprised by, so I was thinking, okay, if I didn't like this, I'm gonna go return it. Like I didn't have to. So I'll be keeping it. I actually did enjoy this. I still gonna go grab some more crowbar though while I'm at. So, but yeah, pretty crazy. Want me to show something else or just want to?
Sure.
So this is one I picked up. It's actually a new release for this year. Band out of California. So do you like bands like Early Moods, like just doom metal, kind of the modern bands doing this old style, retro style, type of doom. You guys know I'm a doom guy, and so this is a band called Lord of Mountain, and
it's a great name.
The album's called The Oath. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite releases this year. This is, if we were going to put together an album of the year list, this would be up there. Probably, be in the top 5, I would say. Really good doom, kind of plays in that retro, old style. The singer even at times sounds like Ozzy, maybe not as nasally, but
Good thing.
just done well. I mean, they're not reinventing anything, but these guys know what they're doing. It's got the hooks, and that's really what makes this album. It's those hooks and those riffs. Highly recommended. Lord Mountain.
Is it like Trouble or Candlemass or
a little bit of everything? Yeah, just a little bit of Candlemass, like riffs, but it's got enough fuzz in there to kind of put them more towards the more retro Sabbath side of things. I mean, I like the packaging overall too. It's pretty nice. Yeah, just catchy stuff. I mean, if you sometimes I think about Doom, and especially when I talk to some people, it's a lot of people find it boring. The tempo, it just doesn't quite keep you interested or engaged. This has the hooks, I think, to keep. I mean, I find people who don't like Doom but like Sabbath, especially old Sabbath, and I think that these guys kind of capture that spirit. So yeah. Actually, I don't know who put this out.
I've been listening to a lot of Come My Fanatics by Electric Wizard lately.
That's a good one too. That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
It's
a good working in the garage album.
All right, Ben, you're back.
All right. Really obscure one. Svartsin from Norway. This is maybe the only example I think of like 90s Doom from Norway. Really, really good stuff. Like it's kind of got the same audio quality as like Kvists for Kungsten Ma Evig Vika. Slow it down a lot, but it's got like a nice frosty kind of mid-90s style to it. Let me see. It came out in 96, just an EP, 4 songs, but it's half an hour long, so it's kind of a long EP. It was a 12-inch in 96, so you're never going to find that. But this was a bootleg from 2014, and some other label put out a 12-inch in 2015. But there's another band from Sweden called Svartsin, but this is Norway. Really, really neat stuff. Slowkvist, anybody? Yeah.
Some people are so saluting.
Yeah, check this out, Marty. I think both of you would love this stuff. I love these underground, hidden Scandinavian things from the 90s that you haven't heard about. It takes you back to those times.
I usually look for the font. The font is usually a dead giveaway. If it's Daft Cancer,
could there be a Metal Maniacs issue where there was an ad for that back then that I just glossed over forever?
And the cheesier the lens flare. I look for that too.
All right. My last one for the night. This is probably going to be my next heavy metallurgy Wednesday album club pick.
Don't reveal it.
Well, I have to because I've been listening to it. Master's Hammer.
Yeah.
I have too.
Fascinator. This album rules, man. This band rules. There's never been a more unique, colorful, well-written, mature, but weird black metal band from the Czech Republic or Chechnya or whatever the hell it is now. I have no idea.
Chechnya.
I don't want to get into it too much because this is going to be my next pick. These guys are so mature and out there and avant-garde, but they do it without being pretentious pukes. It's like, it's just a natural occurrence for them. From their first album on, they've always been weird. Whether the band photos have Hitler mustaches or a dude that looks like Meatloaf hiding in the bushes, or weird fedoras and bizarre shaped guitars. I mean, this band has always been unique. I picked this up recently. My last trip down to Grand Rapids, Michigan, there's a place down there called Vertigo Records. I love going there. Their metal section's immense. They had this for under $20. I had to have it. I've got 3 or 4 Masters Hammer records now. They're kind of hard to find. They're not cheap either online. So cheers to you, Herm, for keeping your record prices reasonable and not stupid. But This is a great record, and we're gonna go over it on Heavy Metallurgy Album Club, whenever my turn comes around.
I
But
remember ordering that. I was actually an overseas order. I almost paid as much for shipping as I did for the record.
Yep.
It's one of those stupid things I used to do back in the day. So I'm a little more worried about that now.
it's the way it is now. If you want to get shit and you have to get it overseas, it sucks, dude. It's just the way it is. It's like I remember back in the day when Norwegian black metal was blown up. I buy the Shadow Throne through mail order for $25 for the CD, and then shipping on top of it. Now it's expensive for the CD and the shipping.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
Rick, do you use the metal detector?
I've used it before,
it's so good.
but I keep forgetting to go back to it. I get stuck in my habits. I go back to my old routines, but that's a really good tool.
That's my
It's a great
first
tool.
place I looked, and then Discogs if I can't find it. It does kind of suck that it doesn't search for Europe.
Word has gotten around. I've seen other channels mention it too, and I think they mention you when they mention it. So I think you're I think you're ground zero for that stuff, and it just spread around.
It's so useful and it helps you save money.
All right, Rick, you are back.
All right, somebody brought this up in the comments, and yeah, I've been checking out Poison Ruin, and so Relapse put this out, and this one looks stupidly expensive and hard to find.
It looks stupidly sketchy too.
There's
just the propaganda look of it, it's not.
Yeah, something about that punk element, and then they go for that lo-fi thing with the medieval and whatnot, but these guys are doing punk and adding something a little different and than what some of these other guys are doing, and adding that sort of lo-fi ambience. It doesn't sound like it would mix. It doesn't sound like punk and ambient and dungeon elements would mix with punk, but they make it work. So this is the latest one, Harvest, and kind of went for the half and half. You hear a clear difference between both albums. This one's a lot more lo-fi. There's more of those kind of dungeon ambient moments, and I actually prefer this direction than what they did here. I mean, I like both albums, but if I had to pick like a version of their sound, I think this kind of might work better for what they were trying to do. This has more of a punchier, production, which kind of makes sense. Now that they moved over to Relapse, I guess they want their stuff to be, I guess, a little more. And I'm guesstimating what they're going through their head as far as wanting this production to be a little more accessible, being that it's going on this bigger label, bigger site. How do you sell something like this based on that description? So
it's quite a reach for Relapse. I was surprised. I feel like they're kind of trying to turn over a new leaf or something.
They've been throwing more of that hardcore punk kind of stuff on their roster. I've noticed. Again, I've known about this band, and they're a local band for a while. Yeah, I'm surprised to see Relapse pick them up. And then they were able to actually reissue this one too. So it's cool. It's if everybody. No, it's but if you're looking for something a little different, with your punk, it's pretty interesting. This one did definitely get hyped a lot, but I kind of still prefer the first one just a little more. Just I like that stripped back kind of sound. But yeah, it's a good band.
Yeah. It's nice to hear bands that are kind of merging genres, like rely on a kind of pop music sort of structure to make it like super easy to listen to.
The kind of things that we're trying to do with this, you see this more on the black metal side of it, with, obviously that's where that stuff kind of stemmed from. And then kind of throwing this layer of, dungeon, kind of this layer of ambient stuff on top of punk. Again, it sounds like it wouldn't work,
Yep.
So I can only just guess at how many ways these guys experimented with this to try to finally find a formula that, they can play live and, and just stay catchy.
It's pretty clever.
I've seen you wearing the shirt, and I've seen other people wearing shirts too. I've always been curious. It sounds like a weird mix.
Yeah, it's not gonna, if you're not a punk person, it's not gonna sell you on it. If you're, if you like this kind of thing and you're just looking for something a little different, a little more out there, it's refreshing.
Right.
I feel like I heard kind of like a little bit of early Death in June roots, sort of similarities.
I can see that. I've never been a huge Death in June person, but I can see why
I
someone would make
enjoy Death in June. Rose Clouds of Holocaust and what ends when the symbols shatter. Operation Hummingbird. I like it. Good shit.
I only listened to their live album, which might be their first recording. Oh, How We Laughed. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
But dude's a douchebag.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Is he? I have no idea. All right. Ben's up.
All right. This is my last one. I haven't listened to it much since I got it. Rick, I think you might be into this. You ever heard of Quirt?
No.
QH.
What? You stumped the end boss, Ben? You stumped the end boss.
I got a ton of garbage in this fucking room.
Well,
I'm gonna get into the trash. I'll fucking play some trash.
It's very straight, and it's got that Courier font, which would kind of lure me away from it. Cloud.
It's, by all intents and purposes,
Graphic nerd.
Get over. So Argentinian band. Have you ever heard of Fungoid Stream? Yeah.
Fungoid Stream. Nope.
This band should suck, but man, I am obsessed with Fungoid Stream. And so Fungoid Stream is like a Lovecraftian funeral doom kind of thing, but they use electronic guitars in a really, really fascinating way. It's very atmospheric.
Like guitar synths?
I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I don't think it's real. It's definitely not real amped guitars. Fungoid have, I think, 4 full lengths. I love them all, really. But Quirt is an even more atmospheric kind of offshoot ambient kind of thing. But if you're in the mood for something that's really like minimalistic and slow, but kind of pulls you in and kind of takes your mind away from what you're doing or something, it's really, really immersive. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this band.
I've never seen that. That's not it. That's not a cover that I would pick up and say, dude, this looks sweet.
But this is the kind of thing for me. I would go, might be good. I think it was just the fact that they had the name Fungoid in their band that made me interested in them.
Yeah.
And I've wound up getting all their stuff, and I really like all of their 4 albums, and their offshoot Quirt is pretty good too. CD only, no vinyl, but like you can get this for $3 on Discogs right now.
No kidding.
I picked up a stack from Deathgasm. Deathgasm is selling off his collection, I think, or like distro stuff. So I got Quirt, I got the Monogarm, Hobbits Vargar.
That band's pretty okay.
I got that Cruciamentum EP on CD.
That's good shit.
I have a 10-inch of that.
I do too. I got this Depracy album. Still haven't played
that. Band rules. That band rules.
And then this Hordes of the Lunar Eclipse. Nobody really talks about. I have this on 12-inch, but I've never really listened to it.
You never listened to it, so you thought I'd buy the CD so you could not listen to that too.
No, I listen to CDs 5 times more than I do LPs.
All right.
I don't hang out in this fucking room. I got shit to do, man.
You need a comfy couch in there, and you would. Oh yeah. That's good.
It's pretty cozy.
Yeah. Right on. Well, I've got nothing. Rick, you want to round out your shit?
I'm gonna pull like 2 CDs Alan sent me. I'm just gonna show off real quick.
Right on. Distilled CPAP water, delicious.
Round up your shit. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. It's been a blast.
It's been fun, everybody. Thank you so much. Y'all rule. We love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us every week. Those of you that do so, you're sadists.
You know what I just noticed, Marty? You're up to 3.99 thousand subs.
Wow, we earned a couple. We're trying to get to 5,000 so we can make Alan listen to Chameleon live.
It's gonna take a lot more than that.
First up here is he sent me Silent Force.
I sent you that.
Did you send me this?
I sent you that.
I had a box labeled Alan, and
I might have sent it to him, and he probably sent it to you because it's not very good.
Must be really good.
It's a circle. It's a circle. Yeah.
All right. It's good. It's kind of like a mix of.
I think I sent that to IL, and he might have sent it to you anyway.
But did you send it away because you didn't like it? Or
I didn't. I listened to it, and I thought this is okay, but I'll never listen to it again.
It's not anything new. It's fun though. It's speed metal, but it's got power metal elements.
Yep.
And it's a fun album. Where are they from? Are they from Germany? I don't even remember. But Century Media put this out. So
you got well-groomed men on the back. You know, it's either proggy or power metal.
oh, true. And the other one he sent me was now this is a band I've known about, but I've actually never picked up their stuff, and I've seen people talk about it. Evil.
I didn't send that to him. So.
Infected Nations. It's good.
I don't know.
It's really good thrash, modern thrash.
From England, right?
I know they're from Europe, but could be. So this is an earache.
Yeah, UK
release, but good stuff. That's actually a really good band. I've checked out their other stuff, and so I'm gonna go back and pick up their other CDs. But just again, they're not breaking any new ground, but what they do it really well.
Right on.
So yeah, that's my stack.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Everybody, we love you. You're all great. And Rick and Ben, I love you guys. As always, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for
fun
jumping on short notice and showing off some shit you've been listening to. People out there, go to the Binary Recordings, shop.binaryrecordings.com and get yourself a Glorious Dead record. Get yourself an Eve record. And there's a whole bunch of other shit.
Buy the Paths LP. Buy the fucking Paths LP.
Yeah, that Paths album is great, and it was a slow burn for sure. But we got a bunch of pre-orders up right now. I know everybody's pre-ordered to death, but it's kind of we're trying something different. A lot of the records are coming or have arrived. I am just one man packaging this shit.
You're a couple men.
Well, we're a couple men, but the one doing all the packaging is one man.
No, you, Marty, you are a couple men to me.
Yeah, I'm the size of a couple men for sure. I'm myself and one Rick and maybe one of Rick's Fu Manchus and maybe one lamb chop.
Hug like a truck,
right? But so yeah, be patient. Kentucky records. I started packaging up today. If you pre-order Kentucky record, if you order just the Kentucky record, you're going to get it pretty quick. But if you ordered a shirt with it, I have to print those as well. Takes a minute. I can only do one thing at a time. So please be patient. Don't be
shirt at a time.
Yeah. Don't be sending me texts or emails saying I've seen as soon as people start showing them on Facebook, that's when the emails start coming. I didn't get mine yet. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I can only go so fucking fast.
You know what's hurting me right now? I got that DSI box set. Still hasn't arrived. Everybody's showing it around and all that stuff.
It never fails. If you want the record to show up, send an email and it'll show up the next day.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be if the fact that I have to respond to your email and say I haven't gotten to you yet, it's wasting my fucking time. So just
I don't want to be that guy.
I get it. I understand. I buy shit. This is not Binary Prime. It's like Amazon Prime, Binary Prime. It's one guy, fat guy in a garage.
You don't have a $200 membership. We can just express everything.
If I had employees, that would be killer. If Ben would give up his farm country and move up to the beautiful white north, he could help out. He could help out. He could package records. We could listen to music, drink, get drunk. It'd be great. But
I'd love it.
If Simon would give up his murderous spiders in his garden and killer kangaroos and murderous wombats and move to Michigan, it'd be great.
Our spiders don't want to kill you as badly.
I need a package drone. Exactly. I need a Binary Prime package drone. But anyway, enough ranting. There's stuff coming, folks. I'm very excited. Thank you all for supporting the label. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting these two gentlemen's channels. The link's in the description. Please go subscribe to the Dreadful Minutes. Please go subscribe to Brainsmasher. Go buy yourself a Heavy Metallurgy t-shirt. Links in the description for that as well. There's a new Riddick design coming. As soon as I can get some Bind Room pre-orders packaged, I'm going to get the Riddick shit on screen and print some so you guys can see them. They're killer designs. I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but it's been a couple months that have been fucking crazy.
That new Glorious Dead artwork, you nailed it. I mean,
I did not do the Glorious Dead artwork. That is Nate Burns.
Well, I know you didn't do it, but
no. I put it together on the record, but I did not buy. I did not.
You did the guitar artwork.
I did the guitar stylings. Yes. Yep. You guys have anything to add before we jump? I'm rambling.
No, that's tomorrow. Join us on the Gas Mask and Hand Grenade channel.
Yep, tomorrow night, exactly. Jeff over at Jeff's channel at Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. There's going to be a 15-hour stream about death. Go check it out. It's going to be killer. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, man, we did. We had a great time. I wish I played better? Yeah, but I can say that every live show. It was a lot of fun.
I fucked up my vocal parts for Panopticon, so that was embarrassing, but nobody noticed.
You know, it's just it. You hope that nobody noticed, and half our set was new shit that no one's heard, so what are you gonna do? Anyway, cheers everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday where the album club will be covering Death Angels the Ultraviolence. I'm hoping there's a review up on Monday. I've got to hopefully shoot it this weekend. I haven't done one in a while. Yeah, this is the way it goes. It's been fucking busy. Anyway, cheers everybody. We love you. See you later. Cheers. Bye.
Oh.